Hello, hello, hello. I hope the volume isn't crazy again. Yo, the tracking was working fine. It was cool. And I took a bite of something to eat. And now, like, every time I make my eyes wide, the little... Oh, there goes an ad break. Damn. I thought it had been long enough. We were streaming for 3 minutes. Usually the ad break hits regardless. Oh, well. I thought the tracking was all fine with the thing, and then I opened my eyes wide, and it's like only one eye is getting like the wide reaction is the one that's covered up in the eye patch. Uh-oh. Whoops. Hehe. The PNG just haunting the Pngtuber. It's like, you can't get away from me. Oh, today's been a sleepy day. She wants to be a part of it. She wants to see the titties. It's so funny. Only one eye is reacting. I guess that means my glasses are messing it up. Yeah. I have abandoned her. Sometimes people need to be abandoned. No, she's been there. She keeps hopping up. She'll probably be there whenever we play Alice again. I think Zan said that they were free for Alice on that Thursday. Okay, now it's reading right. How is the RJ? How is the RJth? I'm excited for Cannibal Yuri. I hope we actually get to see it this time. Roger Route comes out tonight, and I'm just expecting, like, the second it hits, I'm gonna be like, oh, gotta go, gotta go. Let's go, let's fucking go. I wonder if I'd turn this down a little bit. Yeah, there we go. What? An hour? No, I think 2 or 3 hours. Unless Eekville's changed their time that they drop routes. I still think it's at 9 p.m., which is like 3 hours from now. Yeah, you can't count. I am slightly worried we might have issues with Vic this stream. Because today it was supposed to be all sunny, but it did like a really quick, heavy rainstorm, and then it sounded like thunder and everything outside. So his head hurts a lot, and he's been like on good times with his med today, but he was still hurting a lot. So hopefully everything's fine. Hopefully everything will be fine during the stream. But worst case, I'll just flip my mic off and chill out with him for a bit. I chilled out with him before stream, which is why we're running a little bit late, but... Oh, man. I am so sleepy. I've had Red Bull, I've had coffee, I'm still so sleepy. I spent most of my day running around outside. I'm just like, oh, it's too hot. It's so humid. It said it was like 79 outside. I was like, wow, that's the coolest it's been in a while. But it was so humid and muggy out. It felt like it was 90. I was like, I'm dying. The sun is blinding you? Put those fucking curtains up, or so help me. Curtain time. I liked one Tina TikTok And now I'm getting all of these Tina thirst traps on TikTok, and I don't know how to feel about it. Because I was like, wow, this is a cool cosplay. Wow, that's so fun. And now it's like, oh, you like Tina, huh? And then it's like showing me the thirstiest Tina things, and I'm like, I don't know if I like them like that. Like, I just thought the cosplay was cool. Oh, alright. Let's get into titties? Titties, maybe? Fish titties? Cannibalism? Yuri? We got like vague Yuri with the first time that we were playing this. All of the above. I think what it is, the last that we had saved is that we were meeting the siren before, like it's the second time that we're meeting the siren. Well, she said she's a mermaid, but I think she's a siren because she was singing. And that's what made us go towards her. And we were weirdly obsessed with her, even though, we just met her. Is there a difference? I think there's a difference. I think there's a slight difference, because mermaid implies the connotation of, like, Disney princess type mermaids, too, rather than, like, the title of siren, I guess, the classification of siren versus mermaid. That's the difference in my head. Alrighty. You walk towards the cliffs as you did the night prior, beneath the cover of the inky blue sky, the wind moaning fitfully with every step you take. Your soul still ache from your expedition the day prior, but you're able to ignore this discomfort. Yeah, we somehow managed to find like some plants we could eat, even though we didn't realize they were there before. Makes me concerned, but we'll just roll with it. Seems irrelevant, really, when compared to the prospect of once again meeting the mermaid. Is this one of those things where they're a prostitute when alive and a hooker with... RJ! No! You have known her for only one night. She has come to mean more to you than your own well-being. Oh yeah, okay. You would do anything for the mermaid if she asked it. Well, almost anything. It's a mermaid if no killing and murders. I don't think sirens have to be murderous. I'm more so talking about the singing and luring for food. Doesn't have to be murder when you're just hungry. You're just going with the flow. It's just the circle of life. You hurry down the sharp incline of the cliffs to the shore, almost stumbling in your scuffed brown shoes, which really were not built with rock climbing in mind. Is it not murder? Yeah. Well, I mean, if we're open to it, I don't know if it counts as murder. Consensual killing. So frantic are you in your attempts to make the mermaid's acquaintance, you nearly fall. It's a good thing that you still have enough sense about you to regain your footing. Otherwise, this tale would come to a premature ending. Consensual killing. Listen, pretty mermaid lady tells me she's hungry and the only thing that works is my meat. Then I guess I'm giving a mermaid some meat. Eventually you make your way out to the shore, then approach the jagged outcrop of rock where you last saw the mermaid. There she is, with the non-worrying at all bone bracelets and armlet thing. Like the night prior, the mermaid is perched upon these rocks, her fair hair strewn about her shoulders. When she sees you from across the shore, she ceases her singing and her eyes light up. Or at least they seem to. So, you've returned to be my hero, the mermaid says, and then lightly she giggles. Or perhaps I should say my heroine? Words. Her praise makes you blush. You do not feel worthy of it. Nobody has ever called you a heroine before. You don't even think of yourself as a heroine. If the story was made about you, you'd rather think that you're a supporting character, one without her voice. Heroine. Yeah. You're not interesting enough. The mermaid seems to think you are, though. She is staring at you delightedly, as though you're the one person in the world she most wishes to speak to. The thought makes you tremble, but not as much as the mermaid's gaze. You tell the mermaid that you do not think you are so very brave, but she dismisses your awkward remark with a laugh. I think you are. I saw the way that you scaled those cliffs. I thought that was very heroic. Oh, so she saw that, did she? I'm all over the case. Then did she see how you slipped down the cliffs, grazing your palms in the process, and how you nearly fell? You have never been the most graceful of girls, but to have your fallings exposed before a being as poised and as perfect as the mermaid, it stings a little bit, more in fact, when the reluctant grazes on your palms, your clumsiness rot you. You tell the mermaid that there was nothing so very heroic about all of that. You were simply excited, that's all, to see her again. You weren't thinking. Well, that makes two of us. I was excited to see you again. She was. Naturally, I had a very good time talking to you last night. I had hoped that we might resume our correspondence. That's why I came to the rocks a bit earlier than usual. I was waiting for you. Did you hear my song? Yes, you replied with a nod of your head. You heard it all the way in the abandoned cottage. It called out to you. That was the general idea. I was singing for you. She was? You do not think that you are worthy of the mermaid's song, but if she does not mind dedicating her voice to you, then... Well, who else would I dedicate my voice to? There's nobody else to hear me. That's a good point, you suppose. Shyly, you look back at the mermaid. You thank her for her song. It was very beautiful. Then tell her before you can lose your nerve that you have prepared a present for her too. Oh right, we made a little flower crown. Oh, have you really? You have. It's a small thing, nothing more than a silly trinket, but if it would not be too much of an imposition, then... With clumsy fingers, you reach into your pocket. For a few moments, you fret that your near fall down the cliff might have damaged the delicate chain nestled within it, but your worries are in vain. The chain is surprisingly sturdy, given it was made with only a few flowers, and has held firm against the odds. You handle the chain with great care all the same. However, as you hold it out, presenting it for the mermaid's approbation. It was for the mermaid that you fashioned this chain. You thought that it would look nice nestled in her hair. You were pleased with the chain when you first made it, but after looking at the mermaid, you have begun to reconsider. The mermaid's beauty is otherworldly, so much so it almost hurts to look at her. Your flower crown, by comparison, seems a very meager offering indeed. The longer you hold your gift out, the more unworthy it feels. You have half a mind, as the seconds elapse, to snatch your silly, unholy, unworthy gift back from the mermaid before she can judge you too harshly. But the mermaid's lips curve upward into a smile, and, in a voice so full of gratitude it makes your heart throb, she says, "Oh my, did you make this for me?" "Hello, Neko, hello." "Well, yes," you reply, still feeling a little flustered. "You saw these flowers earlier when you went for a walk, and they made you think of her." "Not," you hasten to add, "that you thought her beauty is comparable to these flowers." We are down bad. Neko, I hope you're doing good. They are far inferior when contrasted with her good looks. I hope so. I hope so. We're meeting the mermaid again. And being very gay with her. So yeah, I've had a sleepy weekend. It's been nice though. It's been nice. I had a lot of Red Bull. It's just so hot. It's so hot. Me and Vic just keep laying in bed like sweating. You simply thought. You are unable to get the rest of the sentence out, however, because the mermaid interrupts you, not rudely, but with something resembling compassion. Perhaps she pities you. She must be able to hear how your voice is trembling. Can she also see the way your hands tremor? Oh dear. Faint heart never won the hand of a fair maiden, you know. Listen, I have won the heart of maidens. Don't say that about me. I'm gonna open my window up a bit because it's really dark in here. How are you awake? Ugh. RJ is simply built different from us all. Have you though? Yes, actually, I've rejected a few people. Oh, it ragdolled when I took a sip. Whoops. Didn't mean to make that happen. Eddie! Hello, Eddie. Hello. What happened to all your confidence? Confidence. I think that your gift is a wonderful one. I did not else expect it, but it is really pretty. You look down at your feet, too shy to meet the mermaid's gaze. Then you say very quietly that you're glad that she thinks so, but she does not need to spare your ego. We're like putting ourselves down so bad. I'll meet her gaze. Hell yeah, you will. We have precious little left of it as it is. The mermaid seems touched by your shyness. Perhaps she likes her prey to be self-conscious. Hey, prey! Oh, right. Didn't we hash out in the last time we streamed this that we think that the narrator is not us? Because she smiles. I'm not simply saying things to spare your ego. I'm not like that. Humans might spout platitudes as easy as they breathe air, but I do not compliment others unless I truly mean it. Is that not the point of speech? To have honest dialogue with one another? If one party in a conversation is withholding their true intentions, then conversation is impossible. Impostable. Yeah, I do think the narrator is that. Are we cannibalizing Yuri Mermaid? Checking both boxes here. That's why it switches between you and I sometimes, right? Right? Yeah, those were the clues. And like the weird insults towards the other women. Playing games is a waste of my time, particularly given my time above the surface is so very limited. Oh. You blush at this, more deeply still, and survey the mermaid beneath the full fringe of your eyelashes. And she really does like it? Yeah, we still don't. I am sensing yandere bullshit. Which I am not against. Did I not just say that? You humans are so very funny with all your second guessing. She was like that too in the beginning. Seems to spend a lot of time rizzing at the ladies. Hey, if I'm gonna die soon, might as well riz before I go. Whiz, riz, and jizz. Because, you know, like, we're whizzing, we're running. Never mind. I'm gonna keep going. I seem to just forget our flight through the forest as soon as... That's relatable. My friend. The mermaid's answer is a simple one, but it makes your stomach clench regardless. Ah, yes. Her friend. How could you have forgotten about her? She used to make me gifts too, you know. Gifts like this one. She would pick flowers on the cliffs over there, where I cannot tread. The mermaid gestures with her one hand to the cliff, which tower above the shore, tall and imposing, as though to stab the sky above. And she would fashion them into crowns like this one, and bracelets. I was appreciative of her tokens, though. She was similarly shy when she first presented them to me. She did not seem to think very much of her handiwork. You and her are remarkably similar, really. There's no guile in the mermaid's voice, but her words have rather taken out the wind from your sails. Of course the cowherd gave the mermaid gifts. Why would she not? The mermaid is beautiful. She is so very beautiful, like a tutelary goddess. She seems to invite tribute simply by existing. Were you more religious, or irreligious maybe, you might have even considered worshipping her. Cowherd? There's competition. I think the cowherd might be dead, because she hasn't been back in a while. We don't know why she's gone, but there's like no one around. Could be the mermaid just got a little chompy and she's lying about it. Though in essence, that is not what you were considering doing with your flower crown. How silly of you to think that your idea was an original one. I might be accustomed to gifts, but it has been a long time since any human has bequeathed me with anything. The character was a lot more Dom with the last girl. She seems a lot more subby. So, are we getting like the Dom route, the sub route, and then the switch route? This is a pleasant surprise. I'm truly thankful for your kindness, dear one. The mermaid leans forward on her rock, so as to pluck the circlet from your fingers. Her benevolent smile, all the while, is unwavering. And now that I look at your gift more closely, I rather think that it's superior quality to the gifts that my old friend once gave me. Who says shit like that? Now this is enough to make you start, as if the touch of the mermaid's fingers upon your own was not. Could your silly gift rather be, or really be better than those that she once accepted? The Riz is working. The Riz! I think so. My friend's trinkets were all rather clumsy in execution, though I cherished them nonetheless. They were very precious to me. They did not last for very long, though, not when I took them with me to my home beneath the ocean. The waters soon rend the fragile links between the flower stems asunder. Your diadem, however, seems more sturdy, but that is, by the same token, very delicate. You must be very good with your hands. Do you want to find out? You think back briefly on your disastrous swimming lessons in the past, of your numerous failed attempts to thread your needle while the other girls giggled at you, and you blush. You think the mermaid's praise might be a touch too effusive. You tell the mermaid as much, but she only laughs. I do not think so, now. The mermaid places your floral trinket upon her head. Oh, look! It actually did! Oh, that's cute. Over her long, fair hair, then surveys you in a manner which seems almost coquettish. What do you think? You think that the mermaid looks radiant, though that is less because of your gift and more because of her natural looks. You tell the mermaid this, though not in terms of quite this glowing, and she giggles. What are the chances she tries to kill you? We'll see how long it takes for her to get hungry. You're selling yourself too short. I think your gift is lovely. Really, the flowers rather match my hair. Yes, you answer with a nod of your head. That is why you picked those flowers. She is all you've been able to think of. I'm glad you've been thinking of me. I, in truth, have been thinking of you, though I did not wish to say as much. No? No, it would be embarrassing to confess how much I've been looking forward to our reunion if you did not feel similarly. She's going to drown us. I do not care to pine for humans from afar. But if you care for me as much as I do you, then it makes me feel less alone. You hasten to assure the mermaid, your face aflame. Do you ever stop blushing? Goodness gracious! That you do care for her, very much so. This is true for all women, by the way. If you ask someone if you look nice and we say yes, it's not because of the clothes. Due to a dream we had— oh, what am I missing at the chat? Oh, the drowning dream. Oh, I vaguely remember that. Beautiful girl held us underwater in a fountain. Oh, I thought that those were, memories. Oh, right. No, we talked about that. We were talking about how that's probably, like, these routes are so if the narrator is an unreliable narrator, well, not unreliable. The narrator isn't us, and it's the person who's chasing us. And when we died in the first route, the narrator said something that kind of implied that they have control over these situations. Kind of like, yeah, you're learning your lesson with this kind of thing. Or like you never learned your lesson. Something along those lines. And so I think that the ending, or the routes that we have, aren't going to lead to good endings because it's the narrator trying to show us that we're not good without her, that like without her we're always going to like die in some kind of way. And the routes seem to be linked to our characters' memories. Maybe. I'm not too sure though. That's just like all guesses so far. Yeah. Oops, I hit the wrong button. You have not known her for very long, but she's certainly made an impression upon you. She's such an easy conversationalist that the time simply slips by when you're together. And it does not hurt, of course, as she is so pretty. I have heard it said, yes, that my looks are rather appealing. My old friend was similarly complimentary. I cannot blame you humans for being so taken with me when my form is so very graceful. Alright, calm down. Your legs seem rather cumbersome in comparison to my smooth, sleek tail. It must be very depressing to lumber about on land as you do, living your days beneath the harsh sun and the cool, unfeeling moon. Sometimes I think I rather pity you. But the surface is a great deal brighter than it is beneath the ocean. I will grant you that much. You agree with the mermaid, still feeling flushed, that there are some perks to having legs, an agreement which makes a mermaid giggle. I am certain that there are, though you cannot explore the ocean's depths as I can. I presume you've never tried it? You shake your head no. You had never thought to do so, largely because you've never been so close to the sea before, not at all in your life. She's very giggly. I know, she's gonna giggle as she kills us. You did not have much opportunity for nautical exploration in the past. You were not allowed to go anywhere then, save for the local church. It was quite a lonely experience. Well now, that is a pity. You were kind enough to give me a gift fashioned from flowers which grow where I cannot reach them, so perhaps I ought to return the favor. Here we go! Eternal Mermaid question. Does she have woman parts or fish parts? Fish parts still have some kind of weird fish hole. She smiled, it was all teeth like a giant maw. Ooh, that'd be cool. The favor. Yes, that's right. It would seem only fitting then to give you something which can only be found in the ocean's depths. Perhaps we could look at it as a form of cultural exchange. Oh no, you protest, your eyes wide. You couldn't possibly put such a burden upon her. You did not give her a gift after all because you wanted to receive anything in return, other than her friendship, that is. Her conversation is more than enough to satisfy you. You do not need any physical presence on top of that. The mermaid does not seem convinced, however, by your naysaying. I think traditionally that's what mermaids had. A bunch of teeth, yeah. Might be thinking of mammal parts on things in the water, like dolphins and whales. Would a mermaid not be like a mammal? Because they can breathe air? She raises one eyebrow, even this gesture is performed elegantly, then says, "If my company is all it takes to satisfy you, then you are easy to please indeed. But please do not rebuff me. I'm offering because I wish to do this." They wouldn't be fish parts then. Mockfish? Remember what I said. I do not say things for the sake of it. Well, you murmur. She really doesn't mind. Of course I do not mind. Now wait there. I will not be very long. Foxfish. Faux fish. It'd be rude to abandon my new friend in the midst of a conversation. The mermaid turns her attention to the clear, mirror-like water which shimmers beneath the moonlight. I can kill you. Yeah, that's a lot of RJ's favorite characters. Then she dives. Her body arches elegantly through the air, her long slender limbs cleaving through the surface of the water with nary a ripple. The mermaid's face is first submerged, then torso, and at long last her tail. The water rushes forth to envelop her as though it's been waiting for her. It subsumes her. It swallows her. Then she disappears from view. The mermaid is gone, but you are still there. Well, now what are you to do? There's nothing that can be done, you suppose, save waiting. We stand there for several moments, watching the black water lap against the shore. The breeze howls mournfully like a wounded animal as it buffets your hair about your face and your torn skirt from around your legs. Time elapses, but how much of it? While you stand there fretfully, feeling as ostentatious as a maypole. When will the mermaid return? Will she ever return? You are starting to worry. Is that all you do? When? Look, over there by the rocks upon which the mermaid once sat. The water is rippling. It looks as though your new friend has returned. Oh, my eye. Okay. The mermaid pulls herself onto the rocks using a surprising amount of upper body strength, then smiles at you. I really enjoy that they politely threaten to kill me. It's like nothing but the sweetest smile and go like, oh, okay, I guess that's fine. You're very pretty, I don't mind. Alright, I'm making notes. I apologize for the wait. I hope I did not make you worry. You were worried, but you're not half so honest with the mermaid. Mermaids might be spoken of as devious tricksters who lure sailors to their death, but they are, in actuality, very sincere. I'm sure they're very sincere in luring them to their death, too. They're much more sincere than most humans. Perhaps that is why your kind fears them so. There are few creatures who inhabit this world whose capacity for lying is greater than your own. You tell the mermaid that you are not worrying, and she answers with a wry smile. I'm not so sure about that. Ah, the mermaid is wilier than you were giving her credit for. She has seen straight through you. 100% prey on the BDSM. RJ, maybe that's a streaming thing you could do. Group BDSM test. I'm not denying that. But no matter, it took me some time, but I was finally able to retrieve for you a gift. I do not have the means to turn this into a pretty piece of jewelry as you did with the flowers, but I wish to give it to you nonetheless. I do hope that you like it. The mermaid leans forwards and then holds her gift out towards you. Her slender fingers unfurl about it like the petals of a flower being folded back, and... a shell! What a pretty gift it is! The ocean might be dark and deep, cold and unfeeling, but the same cannot be said for the object which glitters upon the mermaid's palm. She has fished from the depths of the water a beautiful shell, one which shimmers prismatic colors beneath the moon's light, much like the scales on her tail. The shell is so very pretty it quite takes her breath away. You look at the shell worriedly, your teeth biting your lower lip. Sorry, I had a drop-down notification on my phone that confused me. That is a bad habit, you know. You will make yourself bleed. Then ask the mermaid if this is really alright. Oh my god. So, are we gonna end up biting our lips so much? Like the, oh, I'm a shy girl. We do make ourselves bleed, and then the mermaid gets kind of like fucking crazy from it. Wait, what does she want? Oh, she's just giving it to us because we gave her a flower crown. Would a gift like this not be wasted on you? Of course not. I want you to have the shell because it makes me think of you. It does? How so? I thought it would be obvious the shell is a lovely find. As are you. Ugh, okay. Oh. Did she just call you lovely? Just realized it's called Mother of Pearl. I feel so dumb. What? Surely you must have misheard her. You can scarcely believe it. It is an awful lot for you to take in, but... Now, why are you gawping at me like that? The wind will change, you know, and then your face will be stuck like that, which would be quite the shame. It would waste your good looks, which for a maiden such as yourself would be nothing short of a tragedy. It seems as though the mermaid really does think you are pretty after all. The mermaid with her smooth skin and fair, fair hair. You can scarcely believe it. There is something almost laughable about the mermaid's compliments. How could she call you pretty when her looks are so immediately, obviously superior? Mother of Pearl is the prismatic color of the inside of the... Oh. Oh, cool. Sorry, Vic made a weird noise. Tongue-tied, you look at your feet. You do not know how to reply to the mermaid. You have half a mind to refute her words, to tell her that you're not that pretty. Not really, but you fear that might look rude. You do not want to rebuff the mermaid's well wishes. There is nothing for it then, but to take the shell which the mermaid retrieved from the ocean steps for you. You do not think that you are worthy of it, but neither do you want to refuse it. Now that is a surprise, the mermaid says, amused as you reach for the shell. I did not think you would be bold enough to take it, not without more coaxing on my part. You have exceeded my expectations. What a good girl you are! Your heart flutters with this praise, and it flutters all the more when your trembling fingers brush against the mermaid's palm. She presses the shell into your skin, and your own fingers tighten about it. The shell is sharp and pointed, and it digs uncomfortably into your skin. She really needs to praise King. Yeah. It hurts, but there is pleasure in the pain. This too feels like a gift from the mermaid. You do not want to spurn it. Even pain can be a precious thing when dealt by the one whom you care for. Okay. You never knew that before. You hold the shell to your heart, which is beating in a regular rhythm, and look at the mermaid. Then, very softly, you thank her. It's quite alright. It seems only fair after you shared part of your world with me. I wish to share part of my world with you too. Humans cannot normally descend beyond the You just met her, my man. Humans cannot normally descend beneath the ocean's depths, and even if they do, they cannot remain there for very long. You're far too fragile. It makes him seem wetter than the sun. Would that I could, I would bring you with me to my underwater kingdom where we might be together. The mermaid's melodic voice trails away, suffused with something resembling melancholy. I know how to say that. Melancholy. I'm just gonna say that. I can say it in my head, but my tongue doesn't want to say it. She sighs. Then she shakes her head and smiles. But this will have to do for the present. Please take good care of that shell. Look at it from time to time and think of me. That would make me very happy indeed. Your dog has other ideas. The days pass following this nightly encounter with your aquatic acquaintance with an almost intolerable slowness. You endure the hours of sunlight as best as you can by going for long bracing walks amidst the heather, foraging for berries and fruits amongst the hedgerows. You even, when you have mustered up the courage, take an old fishing line uncovered in the fisherman's cottage to try your luck by the shore. Your initial attempts at angling are without success, but as the time passes, your proficiency in the art grows. Sometime after you take up your rod, you find you are able to catch the odd fish here and there. Small, scrawny things mostly, but the meat goes ways to bolstering your rudimentary diet. You teach yourself how to remove the shells of these saltwater fish that you've captured and how to gut them. You learn, too, how to cook them over a simple fire. Sometimes you skewer these fish of yours on spikes and roast them slowly, innards and all. You are able to sustain yourself well enough during the day, though the faint pangs of hunger you experience never quite go away. Your physical discomfort, however, is secondary when compared to your desire to visit the mermaid. Your days might be dull and drab, but your nights, comparatively, are made of magic. Person chaser, just give up. It's possible. It is only during the night that the mermaid emerges from beneath the waves, and when she does, you hurry to her side. You have never before had anybody who took such great interest in you, not until you met the mermaid. That's why she has grown to mean so very much to you. She is the first friend that you have ever had, but if you do not tamper your obsession accordingly, I fear she may be very well your last. You care little for the potential danger, however, which lurks beneath your interactions with the mermaid. You want to only show the mermaid how much you value her, and you hope within time that she will come to value you too. If you keep seeing her, surely she will stop thinking of her human friend who she lost so suddenly. Friends with benefits? I don't know, those fins might feel great. There's your plan, at least. Fortunately, your self-serving wish to grow closer to the mermaid seems close to being granted. Your nightly conversations when you greet her come easily enough, the words tumbling from your mouth like thread. You have grown rather comfortable in the mermaid's company, and she yours. She must have, for it was not long after you bequeathed your diadem of flowers to the mermaid that she looks at you, then posits a curious question. I was wondering, dear one, whether you would mind indulging me. I know this might not seem like an appealing proposition, but I thought it would be remiss of me not to ask. I have seen some of your world, for I have sat on the shore for many, many nights hence, but you have seen nothing of mine. It seems unfair that I should know some of the world that you inhabit, while you know so very little of my own. So would you care to come with me beneath the ocean's waves? There is much that I wish to show you, sights that I cannot, I fear, be accurately represented in language alone. Words can be awfully stifling when it comes to the communication of experiences such as this. It is quite the florid speech, but at the heart of it beats a simple enough request. The mermaid wishes to bring you beneath the ocean's surface so that she might show you her home. You were flattered initially that the mermaid wishes to show you something so personal, but after this flutter of flattery there comes an uncomfortable sense of unease. The mermaid might feel at home beneath the water's surface, but what of you? You are a human girl with 2 awkward, ungainly legs. You were not made to live under the sea. You frown, and mistrustfully you look at the ocean. It is late at night, and it is always when you speak to the mermaid, and the water does not look blue. It appears instead to be obsidian. I don't think the legs is something. Yeah, I think it's our lungs. I think our lungs are the issue. The waves moan as they break against the rocks, which jut out of the shore like a mighty dragon's bones. They sound angry, violent almost. Salty sea sprays arcs through the air, caught in the moonlight, and shimmer as sharp as knives. Hesitantly, you take a step back. You are a little afraid of the sea. It is so restless, so deep, and all so consuming that it reminds you of a hungry monster. You have never submerged yourself beneath the ocean before. You never had the opportunity. You do not even know how to swim. You are fearful for your own safety should you consent to dive beneath the undulating meniscus of water, but... Do not look so frightened, dear one. I will be with you. I will not let you go. You have my word. Shyly, you glance at the mermaid. She is still perched upon a rock, her hands folded neatly upon her. Well, she does not have a lap. Not really. You're still afraid, but the mermaid's reassurance does help. Has she not told you numerous times that she is nothing if not honest? You trust her not to break her word. She will not leave you beneath the waves, abandoning you to a cruel, lonely fate to become the food of so many fish. Of that you are certain. That is why, despite all of your misgivings, you find yourself nodding your head. If that is what she wants, then you will accompany her. You are interested too in what lies beneath the ocean's surface out of sight. Yeah, honest about that. Oh, I knew that you would agree. Thank you so very much for humoring me. I will endeavor to make these next few moments the most memorable you have ever experienced. Really just skipped over the breathing part, right? Now, would you care to come with me? I shall be your guide. The ocean's depths might be dark, but I will not let you get away from me, I promise. The mermaid extends her hand towards you, a hand which seems to be cut through the moonlight, just like a blade. The moon's celestial rays play against the mermaid's upturned pond so that it shimmers. The mermaid's hair, too, is glowing, backlit by a Celine's glow, so that she almost looks like an angel. Her beauty is such that, for a few moments, you cannot do anything, neither step towards her nor back away. You feel frozen in place, rooted to the sand, like some shore-growing tree. You still do not understand why the mermaid has taken such an interest in you, but an old adage does occur to you. You ought not to look at a gift horse in the mouth. Oh. Or ignore the pleas of a graceful, dignified mermaid. You reach out, your arm shaking like the skinny bow of an ancient tree, and find the mermaid's hand with your own. The mermaid's fingers curl up about your own. Her nails, only now you notice how sharp they are, digging into your skin. Though the mermaid herself looks very sharp, her grip... soft. Her grip is surprisingly strong. You do not think if she willed it you would be able to get away from her. But why would you want to? She does not mean you any harm. Now, let us be on our way. There is much to see in my underwater kingdom. I cannot wait to show it to you. The mermaid turns towards the ocean, as do you. Eyes open in the saltwater. Yep, here we go. A brief moment passes, one during which you allow yourself to stand there, your hand claimed by the mermaids as the wind buffets your hair and your skirts. You inhale deeply. The smell of salt is heavy in the back of your nostrils, so much so that you could choke on it. It's not a particularly pleasant smell, but you have grown accustomed to it after living in your tumble-down cottage by the shore. It is nostalgic almost. You have a vague feeling, as you stand on the precipice between your world and that of your aquatic companions, that you might never again be able to smell the salt in the air like this. It's just a silly superstition. Supposition? Whatever, though. You're being foolish. The mermaid will return you to the surface in due course, will she not? You hope that she will. You, unlike her, cannot breathe underwater. You open your mouth, meaning to ask the mermaid about this fact, but you are not afforded the opportunity to speak. The mermaid has already shifted, her fingers still twined about yours. She dives forward, her body slicing through the surface of the water like a knife, and you, inexorably, are being dragged along with her. Oh. The water rushes forwards to meet you in a sudden, shocking rush. The mermaid's descent might be graceful, but yours is anything but. You do not know how to position your legs, and your limbs feel awfully ungainly. The shock of the water as it touches your skin, meanwhile, is intense. You did not think that the water would be this cold. No, it's not just cold, it is freezing. It feels as though all the warmth has been sapped out of your skin. If your head was not already beneath the ocean's waves, you would gasp from it. You do not gasp, however, you cannot. You have already been submerged. Your body no longer feels as though it's your own. Your hair is unspoiling behind you like thread, and your skirt is fluttering. Your body rocks to and fro as though it was being soothed in a mother's arms. It's a curious feeling, but it is not unwholly unpleasant. If only it were not so cold down here beneath the ocean's depths, you might find it relaxing. It is dark under the surface of the water, yes, but you have not ventured so very far, not yet at least, that the glow of the moon cannot penetrate its depths. I like the music being muddled too. Your surroundings are illuminated, though faintly, and thanks to the precious illumination, you can see the schools of fish swimming about you. Their scales all glisten as they arc through the waves like rainbows. They do not look like life forms. They appear, instead, to your fairy tale-addled mind to be ancient relics brought to life through some strange arcane sorcery. They are pretty. No, that word's not significant enough. They are beautiful. You do not know as you stood upon the shore. Now. You did not know as you stood upon the shore how very full of life it was beneath the water's surface. You did not know either how very beautiful these aquatic denizens of the deep were. You have never seen fish like these before, not in real life. You have memories, vague, hazy memories of dissecting a fish once in a particularly gruesome biology lesson. But that feels like a very long time ago now. You would far rather think on your present than dwell upon the past. But the seconds pass, and as they do, the mermaid continues to swim, leading you deeper and deeper into the ocean's depths. While you were once close enough to the surface that the moon's light could still slice through the waves, it is now so very dark you can scarcely see. Your vision is beginning to blur. You feel an uncomfortable pressure weighing down on your inert body. Yeah, you have descended, you realize, with a ripple of anxiety too deep. Humans were not meant to descend into these depths. The water, once cold, now feels freezing. It caresses every inch of your exposed flesh as if to sap what little warmth you might still possess. You shiver, and when you do, you swear that you can hear your teeth chattering, despite the water which stops your ears. The water is stopping up your nostrils. There's so much water down here at the bottom of the ocean. It is endless. The mermaid might be able to breathe underwater, but you are not so fortunate. Your body is far less sophisticated than hers, and it requires oxygen with which to furnish your body with continued strength, not salt water. The thought of trying to inhale the endless water which surrounds you makes you shudder. Not suffer. You would rather not attempt it. You do not have gills. When will the mermaid take you back to the surface? Surely she must know that you have fast begun to near your limit. You have been under the water for too long. It is too cold, and it is so dark now. In any event, you cannot see much of anything. The joy you once felt during your underwater adventure has begun to dissipate, just like the last of the oxygen you still possess. It is time to return to the surface now, but how are you going to communicate this to the mermaid? You cannot speak, and she is not looking at you. She is staring instead fixedly at something beyond your comprehension, something far away, perhaps in the underwater gloom that you cannot see. Not knowing what else to do, you try to pull your arm free from the mermaid's grasp. You hope this will signal that she has grown too carried away in her endeavors, that she ought to cut short your expedition and return you to the shore. The mermaid does not react, however, to your attempts to escape her. Her grip does not slacken as you had hoped from about your wrist. In fact, it is quite the opposite. It feels as though she is gripping you more tightly than she was, as if to prevent your escape. But why would she do that? You tap on the mermaid's shoulder to get her attention, a gesture which prompts her at long last to turn. Her fair hair billows about her, suspended in the water like a shroud. Then she says in that calm, measured, incredibly reasonable voice of hers, "Yes, dear one, what is it?" If you could, you would open your mouth to reply to her, but alas, you are a human girl, not a fish. You cannot speak underwater. Any attempt to do so would accomplish naught save filling your pretty little mouth with water. The mermaid really ought to have considered that before she started to ask you questions. But your comfort seems to be the last thing on the mermaid's mind. She smiles at you gently, delicately, and then says, "I understand. Being in the underwater for so long must be beginning to take its toll. Do your lungs feel like iron? Are they heavy?" So she does understand your woes. Make Archie's day. You might not be able to speak, suspended as you are in the dark, murky depths, but communication is not wholly impossible. You nod your head empathically, hoping that this will be enough to make your distress apparent, but yeah, so happen. It's a natural part, or so I've heard. Drowning. Not that I've ever had the opportunity to experience it for myself. I'm incapable, you see, of meeting my demise in such a manner. Now what was that? What could she mean? I mean, the mermaid answers, can she read minds, that this was a calculated act upon my part. Forgive me, dear one, but the moment you consented to sink you beneath the water with me, your fate was sealed. Your lungs will be flooded with water soon enough, and then you will die. It's not a pretty way to go. You needn't worry about your corpse bloating, disfiguring, or being eaten by fish, though. I'll take very good care of it, I promise. In death you will look lovely, almost angelic. Is that not what you always wanted? You do not know what the mermaid thinks it is, exactly what you want, but you think she is laboring under some severe misunderstandings. You would like to try to correct her. You do not want to die, but of course you cannot open your mouth. What a pity. It doesn't sound like... Again, it doesn't sound like cannibalism. It seems like they're going the Albert route again, trying to keep us, like, our body somewhere, quote-unquote, safe. Well, at least it saves me the effort of transcribing your dying, please. The narrator's so mean. I doubt they would be particularly interesting. If you want to know why I'm doing this, then I would not mind obliging. I have no secrets to keep from you. Other than the secret, perhaps, that upon your first meeting she nursed within her cold fish's heart the desire to bring about your watery murder? See, this is how we know. Yeah. You might have liked to know that before you agreed to sink beneath the ocean's surface with her. I'm only doing this because I have no choice. The other girl I liked, after all, the one who I adored, disappeared. She went away and I was never again afforded the opportunity to see her. You remind me of that girl, though. You do not look much alike. You do not act very alike either. But you are both humans who, despite your delicacies, have no shortage of determination. How your kind is able to live when your lifespans are so very short and you're susceptible to so many diseases is a mystery to me. Though my lifespan far eclipses your own, I am far sturdier. I cannot help but marvel at the tenacity of you humans. I know that if I was as fragile as you are, I would not be able to exist in this world. I would be far too afraid, and I would see my own death lurking behind every corner. Just as you can see your own death looming before you. It's not so very far away now. You can feel it coming closer and closer, and closing its cold, icy fingers around your throat. You humans are incredible. I cannot help but respect you, weak and pitiful though you are. She respects your tenacity so very much she wishes to extinguish it? That does not make very much sense. Perhaps my words are confusing to you, but it makes perfect sense to me at least. Oh, there's an ad break. Alright. I gotta stop shrimping. I gotta find out where my dog went. Let me put the little ad break thing up. Casual insults are just making RJ more interesting. Right? RJ's like, I can handle a few insults. Bring it. RJ's like, I insult myself on the daily. You got nothing on me. Vic, where'd you go, buddy? Oh, you're right behind my chair. Are you using it as a pillow again? Vic? I love you so much. You are in a very dangerous position here. Can you move? Yeah, I have to move you. Oh. Okay. Sorry. Vic loves to put his head on my chair like a pillow. It scares me consistently. Oh. Stretch? Okay. And hydrate.
Drink water. Become moist.
I'm stretching. So if I drink my my Red Bull, it doesn't count as hydrating. No, it doesn't. Damn. Alright. Cover the boobies for the ad break. Boobies aren't allowed for ad breaks. I think after this route ends, I'm gonna flip back to the chatting screen, since people are in chat now, and I want to show a few photos and ask. Also Red Bull at like 10 p.m. It's 7 o'clock. And yes, a Red Bull, because I have been groggy all day despite having a coffee, and I drank it starting at 4. So, I don't want to hear it. You were 3 hours off! Ad break ended. The titties shall be free once more. But I do want to take a sip of the Red Bull. Hold on. Why does she get like that? Oh, it's not Red Bull. It's the Aldi knockoff brand Red Thunder. It tastes pretty much exactly the same. Alright. Free the titties. Titties are free. It's off 3 out of 24 hours. It's pretty good. You know what? Yeah, that is pretty good. What time is it for you again? It's like, is it like 9 a.m. or 8 a.m. for you? I don't remember the time difference. Ah, I got it right the first time. Time to start work. What better way to start the shift with murderous mermaid Yuri? Alright. My beloved cowherd left me. I do not know where she went or what happened to her. Perhaps she was murdered by bandits. Perhaps she contracted a horrible disease. Perhaps she simply fell and cracked her skull. Perfect start to the day. I do not know. I will never know. For many, many days and many, many nights, her disappearance tormented me. Bring your Yuri to work that— yeah! I cannot help but wonder how it came about, but there were so many possibilities I could not imagine all of them. This thought terrified me, and still does. That's why I'm going to take you to my underwater kingdom with me. There we can be together forever. Nothing will ever be able to tear us apart then. I'll brush your hair, I'll dress you in the finest pearls found from the bottom of the seabed. It will be lovely, much more lovelier than any sort of miserable existence you might have been able to eke out above the water. In my citadel, you'll never be attacked by bandits nor ravaged by diseases. You'll be quite safe, I promise. Quite safe, yes, and quite dead too, surely. Well, yes, that is only an unfortunate aspect to my plan. She considers your death nothing more than a mere misfortune? The mermaid might be surprisingly cold after all. Perhaps you ought to have predicted this. She is part fish. Are fish not cold-blooded like lizards? You probably learned this at some point during biology class, but your lessons are beginning to feel very faint and far away now. Your body is beginning to fail you. You cannot take much more of this. It is a necessary sacrifice, though. If we are to be happy, I'm doing this, you know, for both of our sakes. I do apologize for tricking you, but please try to understand. I really have been lonely. You would have been more inclined to sympathize with her, perhaps, if loneliness was not ushering you to your inevitable demise. But you are too preoccupied with your dwindling reserves of oxygen to feel much in the way of anything for your captor. What's this wee business? You can feel the pressure of the water against your eyes. They are beginning to ache. Perhaps you are crying. You do not know. The water masks much of your anguish. You have been drifting underwater for almost 3 minutes. That is a remarkably long time to go without any air. Your vision is beginning to cloud. Your surroundings, already dark, look darker still, unpleasant and obscure, and not at all like the paradise the mermaid promised you. The pain of being suffocated slowly is far stronger and far more oppressive than the sensation of the mermaid's hand wound tightly about your arm. Most people can't even hold their breath for a minute. We're not even having the choice. Is there no escape for you? You know, whenever I was a kid, I would practice holding my breath because I was like, what if I'm ever in a case where I'm like being pushed underwater and I have to and I have to like save myself. I can't even swim. Let's hold our breath on stream. Why? Let's time it. I'm scared of you guys lying. What? RJ. Random competition. We'll do it after. How about this? We'll do it after the mermaid kills us. How's that? We can see if this chick's got a skill issue or not. Is there no escape for you? The prognosis, I am sorry to say, is grim. Your fate, as the mermaid said, really was sealed the moment you met her, luxuriating on those rocks beneath the moonlight. This is something that is totally normal to want to win at, and yeah. But you'll forgive me if my sympathy is limited. You did bring this upon yourself, you know. You reap what you sow, and in your case, you made a series of bad decisions which led to your untimely demise. Now what do you want to do? Will you accept this fate of yours and rest in peace, or will you try to fight against it? Right. It keeps letting us do this. I want to see what happens if we accept it. There's a bit of an anticlimactic answer at this juncture in your life story, but I suppose it would be remiss of me to lecture you too much. I'm sure you're well aware of what a terrible series of decisions you have made. So to talk to strange hot women. You always gotta talk to strange hot women. There's no need for me to belabor the point. That would be boorish, not to mention tedious. I'm rather tired of scolding you, so instead I think I will content myself with loving you. What? You thought in your death the mermaid was the only one who would be able to consent you? I know I've said this before, but you really are naive. You cannot escape me, even if you are at the bottom of the deepest, darkest ocean. The world might have forsaken you, but I never will. I will never leave you. You'll never be lonely again. With the fishes, you're beginning to feel distinctly waterlogged. Gotta shoot your shot. You miss 100% of the mermaids you don't get drowned by. How dare you, narrator. Right? Okay. Let's go back to the load. The choice. I like that look on your face. It is a look full of determination, the self-same determination which first prompted me to take an interest in you. I can tell that you're not happy with this ending. You did not come all this way after all to drown. That is quite the indecorous demise regardless of how many fine stones and shells the mermaid means to twine through your hair after your death. If you wish to carve out a new story for yourself, then I would be only too happy to indulge you. Fuck, I forgot to buy Alfredo. Sorry. It just came to mind. Sorry. Just try not to get on the bad side. Sorry, like, I was talking and then the thought popped up and I just said it without thinking. Sorry. It did, because I was thinking of boiling water. Just try not to get on the bad side, or good side of any homicidal naiads this time. The drowning affair made into something of a cliché. Your fate is once again in your hands. Your mind works. Okay, no, it's not that mysterious. I was reading this and I was like, okay, so once we finish this, we'll have the last third path, but probably once we go through that third path, there'll be a secret fourth path I imagine is opening up, so we could see the narrator that we're running, like, we keep hearing, and who keeps berating us for leaving. I was like, okay, and that will be like maybe like 2 hours or 3 hours of gameplay. And I'm like, do I have enough time to do that tonight? I was like, I did want to play Roger's Route because it comes out tonight, but I don't remember if it comes out at 9 or 10 or what. And I'm like, I don't know. Maybe I can just play it for a bit and then just play Roger's Route later tonight. I'm like, but then I have to fix food. Yeah, right, I want to pause it. Fuck, I forgot to buy Alfredo. That's what was running through my mind as I was reading that. No, that's just how my head works. I could be doing anything, and that's how my head works. Your fate is once again in your hands, mental gymnastics. No, it's not gymnastics! Oh no. And I'm just thinking pretty fish. I was also absorbing all of that. Like, it's not in a disinterested way. It's just like two things playing at once in my head. TV. I got the TV going and I'm like watching all of it. I'm like, yeah, yeah. And then I'm like also thinking about other things that I need to do. It's called ADHD. Shut up! Your wife's gonna come on and be like, yep, yep, and then leave. And then leave. Now I wonder, which path will you take? How many channels do you have going at once? We only have one path left. Channels? Oh, usually 2 or 3. It depends. Whenever it's 3 or more, that's whenever it gets really bad and my head hurts. And that's usually whenever I start complaining to a therapist like, hey, it's really loud, my thoughts are going 50 miles per hour, I'm getting lost in my head, and I want to bang my head against the wall. So it's not that bad. 2 to 3 at once? Well, yeah, because like we just had the dual one right there that I explained. Like I'm completely immersed in the story and everything, but I was just also thinking about other things. The 3 can be the background daydream I have running in the back of my head all the time. Then you know what? You know what? We're not gonna talk about that one. The castle. So you want to go to the castle? Yeah, that's not castle. Castle. We're going to the castle. Oh wait, no, we're at the path decision thing. Right, I wanted to talk to y'all for a second. I'm ignoring that conversation. I think you guys show up the most. So does Verse or V, but V's not here. That's fine. I'm getting diagnosed on stream. Normal background, hentai yaoi thoughts. Oh, it's the Blorbo thoughts, but that is close enough. Woohoo! Alright, I wanted to, make a proposition. First off, Roger's Route's coming out tonight, so I think we're only gonna stream till 9, as you heard me say that a little bit earlier. Ahem. However, I had a minor idea, and I want to start off by saying I don't know how well it would work. What is this image? Nothing. Okay. I want to say that I don't know how this would work. Or I'm not sure how well it'll work. I know of an idea of how to do it, but I didn't want to go through the effort if no one was going to be interested. I got... Oh my god, that is huge. Ignore that for a second. Hold on. You see this little house thingy? You see this little house thingy? I went to Daiso and I spent money, and I got simp supplies. But this little house thingy's cute, and I was thinking, there's like, let's see. There's a little attic part, there are 2 little rooms, and there's 3 rooms, and then there's 2 rooms again. I was gonna make my Blorbos little rooms in this. And I didn't know if I ever had the wild hair on my ass to like, stream it. If you guys would be interested in that, just seeing like a little creativity background stream. Going... Oh yeah, the ever so elusive Discord stuff. The simp channels. In Bloody Sims. No. Those are like all the servers I'm in. But I thought it'd be fun, because I don't know what all Blorbos put in there. I might make some, but I have to think about it. I might decorate one to see how it goes. And for whatever you want to stream. That'd be fun to do little creative streams like that, just as like, oh, I don't have to stream a game if I don't want. I can have company while I make crafty things. Because I miss making crafty things. I miss crafts. Did I have another photo I wanted to share? I don't remember. Did I download another photo? Oh. I'm putting... This is also going to be a fun background thing that you guys might ever catch in the corner of my photos. There's Gilbert, Pastel, one of my friends that I met because of Bloody Sims and the fanfiction I write. She sent this to me with a little one of my OC Constance. Very cute. But he hasn't been coming home in the gacha, so I'm going to shrink him into a bird cage. And I'm thinking about putting like a little curtain on it because I thought that'd be cute, but more importantly, he's being put in the cage. Cage time. You just might see that in the background of the photos. I feel like I had something more to say about that, but it's been like 2 hours since I thought about bringing it up and I don't remember everything. So, your guess is as good as mine. Parallel play. Yeah, exactly. So I figured worst case scenario, if I can't figure out a way to stream it on Twitch, then I figured like maybe it could be a little Discord stream where we can just like actually voice chat together and hang out a little bit. That wouldn't be bad either. Because I can record using my phone. I just don't really understand how to stream my phone with OBS also. So I had to figure that out and make sure it doesn't kill my phone. I wouldn't be able to do the little VTuber thingy. I'd probably use my Pngtuber. And you'd see my hands. Unless I wear gloves. Which might be for the best if I'm using glue, because if I use super glue, I just chew my skin off, and that's not good for anyone. But, oh yeah, it'd be great practice for when, pumpkin carving. It'd be great practice to figure out how to stream pumpkin carving in the future. That was another reason why I wanted to do it, because I really want to stream carving pumpkins. Though, it would be in my room, and I'm concerned about pumpkin smell in my room. So I don't know how many pumpkins we're gonna carve. I also thought about getting pumpkins that were, like the quote-unquote carvable plastic pumpkins that some stores sell, but that's like a whole different beast. And I don't know how those work, so we might have like one real pumpkin and one fake pumpkin. I don't know. Or I'll just get 2 real pumpkins, but ideally, it'd be very fun to have you guys like vote on a design or something that is not too complicated. I'll have to show my other pumpkin designs at some point. I'll throw them in the server. Ain't nobody got time for a new fandom. Let me catch up on chat a little bit, because to be honest, I got backed up on it. Okay, going to diagnose your, or dox your chat buddies. Neko's for it. I read Eddie's parallel play. So I think watching anything's fun, but I've considered streaming, decorating my room. I think that'd be fun. You could still, like, even if you didn't want to show your body, you could probably, especially in Japan, could probably find a way to, like, strap your phone to your, like, chest or something and show you doing that. For all this time, I still have no idea who these characters were. Hold on. Ah! Hold on. I'm going to my vast downloads folder. That RJ teases me about all the time. Ooh, can't show that on stream. Uh, Here we go. This is a good photo. Ooh, it's really small. Whoa, that's too big. This is Gilbert for Ekman Prince. This is the freak that I like. He's a freak, and look, he's biting. This is who RJ likes. Showing a porn stash. My downloads folder isn't 20 gig. Hold on. Properties. It's not 20 gigabytes, it's 123. Ooh. I've had this computer for 5 years or more, actually. It's fine, it's fine. There are some folders. Some folders exist. Woo! It's Gilbert from Ekman Prince. He's a little freak. He's a freak. That's who the little plush was. I think Pastel did a great job at it. He's from Ekman Prince, a Beauty and the Beast type of otome, even though it's not remotely close to Beauty and the Beast at all. All the beastly things is like, oh, all these princes have trauma. That's the beast. There's him getting pegged. He looks silly. I think he's silly. But I like him. Yeah, I figured 20G is nothing for a porn stash. Scum is in the top. A lot of it is just images. So I can like make things, because I make a lot of crafts and emotes for the simping stuff. How much of that is your porn game? None of that, actually. I don't think any of that is the porn game, because I uninstalled it. Because it was big. I wanted to play Power Washing Simulator. That's why I uninstalled it. Porn or Power Washing Simulator. Right? Right? Is that what they're calling it these days? No. Neko, I've made like calendars and cutouts and letters and like envelopes and all this other stuff. And a lot of it's fanfic banners or like emulators or silly things like that. Oh, I do have Roger's signature. Wait, where's my Roger image? That might have actually saved to my OBS stuff. Where's the little freak? Where in the hell? Maybe he landed in thumbnail land. That's usually what happens. I accidentally save a lot of things in my thumbnail folder. There he is! That's exactly what happened. This is Roger. This is the route that I'm going to be playing tonight. That's coming out tonight. Which Cyber themselves said that you need to do a lot of stretching to prepare for him, and I was like, what? I was like, you're gonna say that? I was like, oh, okay. They're not R18 game. That's why it was funny, but he's coming out tonight. He's from Ekman Villains, and he comes out at 9. And honestly, I might like eat after stream and then like pop into the Discord and hang out with other people who play the game on there. Wait. Wait a minute, what are you wait a minute. Priorities, make things, okay. Go to buy this thing. You don't have to justify your porn search. I can't believe you put that quote. They said, oh, you know what? Hold on. I'll share this to you guys. It's not gonna take me that long. Recently closed Twitter. Don't like that. Not a fan of that. I have 3 notifications. What is the Ekman Villains account? I think it's just Ekman Villains, right? Oh. It might be Ekville. Whoops. Yeah, Ekville-EN. Ah, da, 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 da. Give me a second. Retain your interests. Do not leave me. Wait a minute. Save image. Save image. Close out. He said 3 to 4 fingers. He's a freak. Super freak. Into my downloads folder once more. Actually, he did not. Where am I saving these to? Where did that go? What? Home. Where's the most recent? What? Where did that save to? What? Wait a minute. Where did that go? Show in folder. No, it went to my downloads. What the fuck? Properties, browse, downloads, view, sort by date modified. What? Okay, it's just gone. Never mind. I'll just read it out loud, I guess, because it's not registering that I saved a new image. That's, worrying. But that's fine, I guess. Oh, it might be because it saved it as like a weird GIF file. I don't really understand that, but it says here's a strong, muscular, masculine doctor to take good care of you. As long as there is some reciprocity, whatever that is. He's smart, hardworking, and only a little bit of a red flag. Surely it can't hurt to trust a man cursed with betrayal, right? He'll help you become a stronger, better woman, all for the low price of a couple of experiments and a few pretty tears. Just make sure to do your stretches, after all. That heart of his isn't the only thing that's big. Check folder / taxes. You think I save my taxes on my computer? That is a bold assessment. Half-naked Roger since it's so damn hot where I live, right? You're drawing Roger. This is great. This is great. Doing God's work. Check download. Oh yeah. Got so much more. If it didn't show some of the worst things in my downloads folder to prove you right, I would show all of like 99% fine things in it. No, I just call it my porn folder. No one else uses my computer. Alright, we went on a very long tangent. Sorry, but I did want to, yes, at 9-ish, I'll be popping off of here to play Roger's route. Sorry, there are bugs on my window outside? And fixing food, and maybe if some other people aren't in Otome voice chats, I might just start one on the server to talk about Roger. It depends on how people in Bloody Sims are. Make sure to stretch. I'll stretch, buddy, just for Roger. I almost clicked out of this on accident. That would have been bad. That would have been bad. Okay, let me close out of this. Alright, alright, alright. Back to the Yuri. How dare we talk about men when it's Yuri time. Um, Give me a minute, my nose is really itchy. I think I realized that every time it's really humid, my nose itches really, really badly. And I don't know why. I hate it. Yeah. Alright, we just picked the castle. That's what's happening. It was the only path left. Good idea. All decent fairy tales tend to conclude in castles once their beleaguered, laugard, put upon heroines are finally able to wed the handsome princes they once dreamed of. Mine is called my sin bin. I also found out what the penalty box is called in hockey. Mine's just called downloads. Why bother trying your luck with the shore, which may very well be deserted, or the village, which will be full of dirty, barefoot peasants? It was far better to skip the suffering and go straight to the grand finale. It was very astute of you. I did not realize you had it in you to be so mercenary. You ever see hockey ships? No, I don't like shipping real people. I can only wonder what will uncover during your moonlight meanderings. The night is far from over and your adventures are only just beginning. It's a lot. It's a lot. I only hope that you have brushed up on your curtsies. They might come in handy when one is interacting with a sovereign. Royals can be temperamental after all. If you fail to treat them with the prerequisite amount of respect, you might come to regret it. You follow the path which leads to the castle, supporting yourself on weary, aching legs which feel ready at a moment's notice to detach from your hips. You are a little more than a wisp of a girl, but you have been running for so very long, and your feet are very numb. You feel like a great lumbering thing, clumsy and ungainly. The soles of your feet are screaming at you. You need to lie down, and quickly. You only hope as you continue to run that you will find a spare room available for you in the castle. You do not know what exactly will await you at the castle, but you have visions as you run of a vast opulent. This dwelling will surely be full of finely furnished rooms in which you might rest your weary head. There must be a king and a queen inside this castle, you ponder, who will be kind and wise. And what of their children? What of a princess? Every good castle must possess a princess who will take pity on you in your plight. You can imagine the face of this generous princess with ease, thanks to the fairy tales you read in abundance as a small child. The princess will be a fair hair and blue eye, with soft pink lips pursed like rosebuds. Her limbs will be slender, her hands dainty and unsullied from physical labor, and her sensibilities will be sweeter than marzipan. She will be kind to you and compassionate, just like an older sister. You do not know what older sisters are like, though, or younger sisters, for that matter. You are only guessing. You are not a complete fool, however, despite your tendency to daydream, and you do have a few reservations. Monarchs do not, as you know from voracious reading, have the best track record when it comes to caring for the peasantry. Was there not a very famous queen who once said with a cavalier wave of her hand that the hungry peasants in her kingdom should be content themselves with cake if bread was not an option? We think that this might be a misquote, but the point still stands. The royals are supposed to grant their subjects succor in their time of need. This does not always happen. In fact, it rarely happens. Kings and queens and princesses and princes are just people at the end of the day, and they are subject to the same caprices that all humans are. They can also be careless and selfish and inconsiderate. There's no guarantee that this mythical princess of your imagination will help you. Is this a switch route, right? Why, there's no guarantee that this mythical princess exists at all. Still, you must try. It is with this hope that you keep going. You continue to run to the castle. It takes some time before you finally emerge from the woods, but finally you do it. How much time, you ask? I cannot answer that. Did I not say that time had begun to lose all its meaning? The forest is behind you now, at least, and all the awful nightmares which dwelt within it. It is still cold, though, and foggy, and very, very dark. The sun has yet to rise. You can see the moon more clearly now, though it hangs above your head, round as any pearl, or orb, or crystal ball. The moonlight shines down upon the castle, which looms in front of you like a cliffside. The stone edifice of the building is imposing. Yeah, it'd probably do me good to just read out the word as I think it is in my mind, but you guys all get to hear me physically slow down in my head and try to sound it out with very varying levels of confusion. And it drowns you in the shadows darker than the depths of the deepest ocean. The castle is not all dark though, not like the night sky above it. When you crane your head, you can see that there are lights flickering within in the narrow, slitted windows. It would appear that somebody is home. The king and the queen, perhaps? What of their servants? What, perhaps, more pressingly, of their guards? You have a suspect as you stand there that armored knights will accost you for daring to approach the castle of the king and queen, so-and-so. I appreciate the voiceover. Thank you. Do you not know your place, foolish peasant girl with the dirty skirt? Begone with you! You are not, of course, a peasant. Your family is a wealthy one, or rather they were before your father made a series of poor financial decisions. You do not look like a young lady right now, though, with your dirty face and your dirty skirt, which is torn at the hem. If any guards were to take you for a vagrant, it would not be surprising. But though you stand there dithering, your filthy fingers hooked in front of your filthy skirt, you do not hear any cries. Nobody sounds the alarm. Lights might be on inside the castle, but there is nobody outside of its perimeter standing sentry. There is nobody to impede your entry, and with the elaborate iron gates which are set upon the vast stone walls about the castle's exterior are open just a crack. It would be a trivial matter to slip inside. There is nobody to stop you. Why are you trembling now, you silly thing? You have come so very far. It would be an act of foolishness to turn around now. Go on, go, get! You inhale, perhaps in an attempt to screw up your courage, which has, at long last, begun to fail you. And then you step forward. You slide between the wrought iron gates, as stealthy as secretive as a thief, and then cross the path which leads up the tall, imposing structure. The domed doorway which leads to the castle itself, hewn from the stone, is closed, but at a push of your palm it swings inwards. The door creaks alarmingly as it opens, the sound loud enough to split the silence like a thunderclap. You inhale at this and glance around, your eyes darting hither and thither. Hither and thither. If there are any guards posted about the castle's grounds, they should have all been alerted by that sound. Will they come for you at long last? What will happen if they should catch you? Will they throw you in the dungeons? It does not sound like a pleasant way to spend the night. At least you would have a roof over your head, though, and you would not have to keep walking. Your feet really do ache. You stand there for an indeterminable amount of time, your heart pounding a panicked, irregular rhythm in the base of your throat. But no matter how much time elapses, no guards come. You are thankful for your luck, though. It does make you wonder. Where is everyone? Why, it's almost as if all the people in the world have disappeared. Could you be the very last human left alive? You frowned and pressed your palm back against the door. Thank you. That's nice of you to say. You push less cautiously this time, heedless of the loud sound which splits the silence. There is no point in worrying about the guards, not when they might be very well non-existent. Your entry to the castle secured, you then take a step forward. The door swings shut behind you, and then the resultant slam makes you jump. You did not expect it. Your heart knocks against your ribs with wild eyes, and you glance about. You are standing in a vast entrance hall made of stone which splits off into any number of passages. At the very end of the hall, meanwhile, there is a large elaborate staircase, one which seems to extend to the heavens themselves. It is dark inside the hall, but there are numerous torches set in sconces. Set in sconces. Sorry. Set in sconces in the stone's wall, which are aflame. They offer some relief from the shadows. You can hear the faint sound of wind outdoors as it moans against the castle's impervious walls, but you cannot hear any footsteps. You cannot hear any voices. You cannot, more importantly, hear any people. Maybe the castle is empty. Aw, thank you! I'm glad! If that's the case, though, then who lit these torches? I don't know how to do ASMR. I'll read books at some point if I can find any. Vic, are you good? He's making little noises in his sleep. I'd be willing to read books if I could find any that are fine to read on stream. There was one I really wanted to read, but it's like an indie author. And so I tried to message them because they have a Tumblr account. That's how I found out. And it's ink skinned. They have a book out called Body's a Bad Monster. Thank you, V. Oh. Uh-oh. It didn't work. Uh-oh. Oh, it made me reconnect my account to Twitch. It might have disabled all my thingies. Uh-oh. I'm sorry, V. Don't use any more. Don't use any more this stream. I'll have to figure that out after stream. I'm sorry. All of my fanfics are R18. They're like BL. Oh, you can refund. Oh, thank you, RJ. I still haven't figured out how to do that. I have female, male, female. No, I have it published in my female, female. Then I have male, male. But like, 99% of what I write is smut. I can't read it. I can't. I can do it in the Discord server, but I don't think people want to hear that. Inkskinned has a book called Body's a Bad Monster, and I really wanted to read that out loud. But I tried messaging them, and they never answered, and since they're an indie author, and I think this is their first book or second book that they've published, I thought it'd be kind of mean to read on stream. So I wanted to find other books that are, like, more popular. Popular is a bad word for it, but they're, like, more accessible, and it's not an indie author, you know? So, like, I'm not big enough to impact sales, but I would feel bad if people were listening to a streamer read it rather than purchasing it. But there's a huge difference if it's a book that's already made like $1 trillion, you know? Just fade to black, the R18 bits. Yes, it would be! I get to read the opening and then the close, and that's it! It only matters if you get caught. No, that's not the point I'm trying to make. But read it on YouTube without breaking TOS, not a stream. Oh. Weird. I don't know, maybe I'll look into that. I don't know about ASMR though. You'll see the ASMR for crafting, because I'll just be like, this is fuck! Whenever I mess something up. Hello V. You missed the mermaid. The mermaid did not eat us. She instead took our hand and was like, let me show you what the underwater is like, and promised that she would like bring us back up. Or I think actually she didn't. I think she conveniently skipped over that. And she took us down underneath the sea and then kept going, and when we tried to be like, hey, I'm drowning, she was like, I know. I don't want you to go away like my friend did. I want to keep you down under the water and like braid your hair and everything. I know you're gonna die, but like, I need to keep you forever like this, so. She totally gets upset at me when I don't realize she's talking to me about herself after she's been doing anything where she's constantly talking to herself. Leave me alone! Phrased her answers very carefully, so she never actually lied about it. Yeah, exactly. She was very sneaky with that. But you missed that, V. And now we've picked the only path left, which is going to the castle, and no one's like, we haven't ran into anyone. Does mumble a lot when she gets in the thing? No, I don't mean to mumble. I mean to be louder. I'm pushing my mic closer. Yeah. Okay. There's a curious conundrum. You must muster up what remains of your courage, then cry out, addressing the empty hall in timorous— I've never seen that word— voice which fails to properly fill out the space. Hello, you say, your eyes wide. Is anybody there? Your voice echoes through the vast empty hall, but it is met yet again with silence. You cannot say that you are too surprised, but it is somewhat disappointing. Not one to be deterred, you try again, and your voice growing louder with each subsequent attempt. No matter how loud your voice, however, it fails to reach any ears, and if anybody is here, they do not seem to be particularly sociable. That, or perhaps they simply cannot hear you. Could they be in another room? Yes, that must be it. You will never find that pretty fairy tale princess of your imagination if you stand idle, you know. It's time to get to work. Put those legs of yours to good use. Not knowing what else to do, is there anything else you can do? You begin to explore. Mod actions. Lewd kitty permitted by scum. Fucker permitted by scum. Fuck the mistress permitted by scum. It's fine, it's fine. You examine the rooms first on the ground floor of the castle, which are a similar scale to the impressive entrance hall, large and richly furnished but utterly unoccupied. 2 girls, 1 cup permitted by RJ. It could have been tribbing. That could have been your last one permitted, but apparently Twitch is fine with that one. Apparently after some time of aimless meandering, encountering nobody save for the ghosts of eons past memorialized in portraits upon the walls, you muster the courage to ascend to the 2nd floor. This floor too you examine, wandering about through a seemingly endless series of hallways, until at long last you find a door which is ajar. From between the crack in the door and the jamb, you can find flickering light. Irregular, yes, but it is light nonetheless. Could it be from a fireplace? That would suggest, then, that this room is occupied, unlike all the others. Perhaps the cunning princess you dreamed of will be awaiting for you in this room. It is with a trembling hand that you press your palm against the door. You push it. You step inside the bedchamber, which unveils itself to you. Shyly, you stand on the threshold of the chamber, much of your courage extinguished in gasp. The bedroom itself is gorgeous. It is a chamber so luxuriant that not even the shadows can obscure the fine crafts of the furniture within it, nor the rich patterns on the walls. It is the girl inhabiting the chamber, however, who truly takes your breath away. God, we are so gay. She looks like she's going to insult me a million ways to Sunday. Sitting upon the velveteen sheets of the towering 4 posters is a girl in a sumptuous red gown who seems to be of a like age to you. You do not have a clear view of the girl's face. Her head is bowed, and her gaze directed downwards at her lap. You can tell from her hair, however, and from her slender calves, which protrude from beneath the hem of her dress, that she is very pretty. The girl's hair is golden, just like freshly cut wheat, but it's the red of her dress which truly captures your attention. She is so striking you cannot look away from her. Those lewd calves. Ugh! Sorry, what a thing to flip to. I did not like how that doll looks. The girl is not alone in her chamber either. She has a companion, though this companion is not half so endearing as she. In her lap, perched upon her velvet skirt, is a doll. The doll's hair, like that of her mistress, is golden, though much of it is hidden beneath the bonnet. The girl is adjusting the china teacup held in the doll's tiny hand, while the rim of the cup glints in the light which exudes from the fireplace. If the girl is of a similar age to you, it seems strange that she would content herself by playing with dolls. Is she not too old for it? This girl would be more at home, you decide, at a ball wearing an extravagant gown, speaking with wealthy noblemen, perhaps even princes. She should not be sitting in what you presume is a bedchamber, adjusting the teacup in a doll's hand. But you're not afforded much more time to stand there, marveling at the girl, because she turns. She raises her head, then her eyes meet yours. You thought the girl pretty when you first observed her, sitting on the edge of her plush velveteen bed, examining her doll. Now she is looking at you, however, her face illuminated by the flames in her grate, and you could see that they're great. You could see that you were mistaken. She's not just pretty, she's beautiful, so much so is breathtaking. Yeah, the crackling's eyes. She looks as though she has stepped out of the pages of a picture book. She is simply too perfect to belong in this world. Perhaps she has some kind of vision, a waking dream, a hallucination? But no, she is none of these things. The doll on her lap is a cold, hard thing made of porcelain, and is unflinchingly, reassuringly real. If she were a mirage, surely she would not be able to handle physical objects such as this. It is strange, though. The doll, though immaculately made, looks oddly imperfect when compared to the girl who is holding it. She is so startlingly beautiful, she even puts man-made representations of feminine charms to... I hit the wrong button. Ah! Feminine charms to shame. The sight of her makes you feel rather weak. You always have a fondness for fair maidens, haven't you? Yeah, we're down bad. Yeah. You're rather hopeless when it comes to them, even worse than a knight errant from a courtly legend. Your aesthetic appreciation is not particularly ladylike, but, well, it's not every day a girl encounters an elegant beauty like this, attired in red, illuminated by the firelight. I suppose I can forgive you for this rudeness, as too can the girl. She does not seem the type to hold a grudge. Oh, the girl says in a voice surprisingly enough far less refined than her appearance. It's good to see you. I've been waiting. Has she? It is news to you. You blink, perplexed by her. You blink, perplexed, a response on the tip of your tongue, but you are unable to expel it into the ether. The girl is setting her doll aside, then she stands, the hem of her dress swishing about her legs. Nimbly, like a ballerina, she canvases the space between you. Her room is very large, there is quite a lot of space, then takes your hands into her own. You must, the girl says, her eyes aglow with excitement, be my new lady's maid. It's been a while, but it's such a relief that you finally arrived. I knew that you would. Apparently we like legs. We're like Clavis. You'd never leave me alone, not when you knew how long I was waiting. Oh, I'm so happy. The girl's good mood is so contagious, so much so that you find yourself being swept away in it. You are tempted to accept any identity she might press upon you. You've never been a maid before, but you might not mind being this girl's maid. Suspicious amount of time talking about her legs. Yeah. Oh, ad break. Alright. No titties for the ad break. Ah, why is my tongue sticking out? I'm scratching my chin. Oh, that was disturbing. I hate the tongue on this one. That was awful. Hold on. Now I can chug my Red Bull without it freaking out. Autofill has ended. I don't careth. How we doing? How we liking the story? RJ, I got 3 people liking your tweet. Spit on me like your repost. That's great. 3 whole people. 3 whole people. VTuber shenanigans are cute. Oh, this thing froze. Okay, there we go. It's very Yuri, not much cannibal. I know. But RJ hinted that this one might be the cannibal. 3 whole people, RJ. Well, it's only been up for like an hour or 2, right? I think 3 in 2 hours isn't bad. I lost my train of thought. Oh, I bullied RJ. RJ doesn't have a Twitter. I still have a Twitter, mainly because of all the Japanese fan artists, but more so because, for my Otome, server, that's for all the Ikman series games, I have like these Twitter bots, because all the Ikman series games have their own Twitter accounts, and they update a lot of important information on there, and giveaways and stuff like that. So, I have a Twitter account, because you have to have one in order to do that. Hey, Eddie! So I still have my Twitter, despite all the awfulness that is Twitter. And since I, made a tweet when Cyberd as a company was very popular in discussions, I got some followers recently, so I was like, RJ, give me one of your debut graphics. I'm going to tweet about it. So that's what we're talking about. Since RJ doesn't have a Twitter, I'm just promoting their shit for them. Your reach is far better than mine, despite having connections with all the down. Yep, that's what you gotta do. But the Twitter account I have, most of the people who have followed me on Twitch, I'd say it's like 50-50 now, but most of them were people who liked my smut, and they happened to be kind enough to go give me a follow on Twitch whenever I post about it on the social media I post my smut to. Just didn't have a home for over a year. Yeah, I'm excited. You're gonna start streaming a lot. I'm gonna have VODs to watch while I'm at work now. Alright, back to the game. Sorry, it was ad break, so I was chatting. The titties are free again. She does not seem like a poor mistress to serve, not as she is always as kind. You cannot mask the confusion, however, which flickers across your face. You are not good enough actress, and in any case, this is all happening too quickly. Why, you barely know this girl. Why is she being so very familiar? It is with a blank bovine eyes that you examine the girl. Your befuddlement is pronounced enough that even the girl, despite her good mood, notices it. She frowns. Then she says, her fingers sliding away from your own, "Or am I mistaken? Are you not my new lady's maid after all?" The disappointment in the girl's face is abundant, so much so your heart clenches. You do not know her, she is still a stranger, but you are struck all of a sudden with an intense desire to appease her. You do not want to let her down. So we are a hopeless, people-pleasing lesbian in this game. The thought is devastating. You were not aware, you tell her, that you applied to be her maid, but if is that what she wills, you would not be opposed to it. You pray she forgives you, though, for your discombobulation. Discombobulate. You come from a distant country, and you have traveled for many miles. I hope still sub, very much sub. You know not where you are, and you do not know who she is. I mean, hey, if we are pretending to be her maid, there could be times where we get to scold her like a dom. You do not know where you are, and you do not know who she is. What? You don't know who I am? It is regrettable, you tell her, but no, you do not know her. Though that is no fault of her own. Why, you spent such a long time running, you hardly even know yourself. Ah, so you're a fugitive then, from another country? I see. I won't pry into your past then, if you'd rather forget about it. I don't mind sharing my past with you, though. Everybody in this country knows who I am, after all, or at least they should. Now this is quite the impressive boast. If it were to come from the lips of another, you would find it unpleasantly arrogant. You do not think, however, that this girl is trying to show off. I think she is. You get the feeling instead that she is merely telling the truth. If you don't have the pleasure of knowing me, then allow me to do the honors. My father and my mother were the king and queen of this realm, and I am its princess. I've lived in this castle all my life, so I don't know much about the outside world, but I know that of other countries do exist out there. I presume it's from one of these foreign countries that you come from. It's very good to meet you. I've always wanted to talk to somebody from overseas. It feels like quite the opportunity. The girl giggles at this, and you smile in response. You tell her unthinkingly that it is your pleasure, really, to meet her, or at least you mean to. You only get halfway through this remark when the full gravity of what the girl has told you sinks in. You come to a stop. Then you stare. Did she just say she was a princess? Yes, that's right. I am a princess, and one day I'll be queen, after I've done a bit of growing up. My ministers don't think I'm ready to run the country just yet, but I've been doing my best at my lessons. One day I'm sure I'll be the best queen there ever was. So she really is a princess. That makes sense, you suppose, given that she lives in a castle, but it comes as a surprise regardless. You hadn't known before you entered this chamber that you were trespassing on a lady of such great renown. Why, if she willed it, she could have executed you for your carelessness. An ugly red flush creeps up on your face, a flush that is far more lurid than a princess's dress, as you look at her feet. Your feet. Your feet. Not her feet. Bashfully, you stammer out a new address, that you are very sorry for intruding upon her and that you hope she can forgive you. Oh, it's alright. Think nothing of it. I don't mind, really. We all make mistakes. And anyway, you weren't to know. You said you weren't from around here. Gravedigger the mermaid, now princess, we're upgrading. We are. You nod your head in silent affirmation. It isn't a complete lie. You really are not from this country. You're not from this world at all. Hey. How wonderful. I'll look forward to picking your brain later. All of my servants come from the nearby village. Their tales are all the same, and so are their superstitions. I could do with a breath of fresh air. My last lady's maid told me I was too impetuous. But I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting a bit of adventure. Not that I've ever been afforded much of that. I've been shut up in here for so long, I hardly get the chance to talk to other girls my age. My last lady's maid was older than me, and so was the one before her and the one before her. Some of the princess's fair mood seems to dissipate as she speaks, her expression turning by degrees into something more pensive. But I haven't seen any of my old lady's maids in a while, or any of the other servants for that matter. They've all disappeared. Now that is quite curious. How could a whole house full of servants simply disappear? That I don't know. This castle was full of servants once. My lady's maids, and my undermaids, and my scullery maids. I don't know what a scullery maid is. And my housekeeper, and my cooks, and my large ratoon of retainers. They're all gone now, though. I think my ministers must have sent them away. I don't know why they would have done that, though. They didn't explain it to me. Oh, my thing lagged really bad. Oh. Scullery is kind of cleaning. Oh, okay. But then again, they never explained anything to me. They still treat me like a little girl. Just so tiring. She said that their ministers sent her servants away? What of her parents, the king and the queen? Would they not be the ultimate authorities of the castle's hierarchy? Things with boilers. Ah, okay, okay. They would, yes, if they were still alive, but they're not. They died some time ago. I was raised for most of my life by servants. Oh, you answer, and then you flush. You hadn't known. It's alright. You don't need to apologize. I'm just happy that I have you now. I was getting sick and tired of only having my dolls to speak to. They aren't the best conversational partners. You can imagine so, yes. You doubt any doll, even one made by a talented artisan, with an intelligent face indistinguishable from a human's, would be very good at answering back. Oh no, they aren't. They're hopeless at it, really. They're so stony-lipped. You have no idea how much of a relief it is to see you. This castle is so big. Without my servants, it feels so very empty. It gets so lonely here. Title drop! Now that is an interesting turn of phrase. It catches inside your head like a burr. Have you heard it before? You do not have much time to ponder this, however, because the princess is speaking anew, in that curiously conversational manner of hers, which does not seem particularly princessy. Maybe she learned how to speak from her servants. That would explain why her consonants are so unrefined. Oh, but listen to me yammering on again. It's a bad habit. I really must put a stop to it. You're probably tired, dear one, from your travels. Would you like me to show you to your room? Yes, the princess announces before you can say anything. I think I'll just do that. I might show you around the castle a bit first, though. It's like a maze in here, and I wouldn't want you getting lost. You'll be staying here for quite some time, after all. The princess then hastens to take you on a tour of her home. Now, my mouth. My mouth. Fortunately, she does not show all of the rooms in her abode, and neither does she offer overly long descriptions as to what the few rooms she does show you are used for. She does, however, pause by the kitchens, whereas she offers you some victuals. Once the growling in your belly has been satisfied, the princess then resumes her journey. She leads you down a dark twisting hallway, and up a series of equally dark twisting steps until she arrives, at long last, before a door. The princess pushes this door aside summarily, and then... thus permitting you to enter... Thus permitting you entrance to a small, humble bedchamber. This chamber is not so opulent as the grand bedroom in which the princess resides, with its resplendent four-poster and its richly patterned wallpaper. This room's ceiling is not as high, and the singular bed shoved against the walls is thin and narrow. The walls are an unassuming beige, and the floor beneath your soles is of warped wood. There is a melodious scent, too, which hangs over the air, one of disuse and general decay. You get the feeling that nobody has slept in this room for quite some time. That might explain why it feels so very cold in here. Though if the princess's tour of her castle has taught you anything, it is that the cold in every room is in every room of her abode. Now here we are, the final stop of our tour. This will be your room, dear one. I hope it's to your liking. The princess, despite her exalted status, looks somewhat uneasy as she observes you, her eyes upturned like those of a loyal dog's. Is she concerned about your reaction to this room? Perhaps she is afraid that you will turn your nose up at her kindness. For a princess, she is awfully eager to please. This is an unexpected contrast between the princess's lofty title and her ingratiating attitude makes you smile. The room is rather scanty, yes, when it comes to its contents, but it is more than passable. It has a roof and 4 walls, and though it is cold, you fancy you will feel warmer once you have slipped beneath the bed sheets. The room is not quite so fancy as your dormitory at the conservatory, and neither is it so large, but it does have one glaring improvement over your previous lodgings. You will not be expected to share it with anybody else. There's only one bed in this room, and this bed belongs to you. You think that the peace and quiet will do you a world of good. You tell the princess as much, and she smiles. That's good! I was worried you wouldn't like it. I know there isn't much to look at, but it's one of the nicest service rooms we have in the castle. Most of the maids sleep beneath the roof in this teeny tiny room, which is all cramped. There's 10 beds up there, and they're so close together there's barely any room to pass between them. I thought it was perfectly ghastly when I saw it the last time I went up there. Not that it was supposed to be up there. It was a rainy day and I couldn't go outdoors, so I was doing a bit of exploring. I like the writing style, a little verbose, but it draws you in. Right? It's nice. It's a good writing style. If the housekeeper had known I'd been skulking around, I don't think she would have been best pleased. Well, in any case, nobody sleeps up there anymore. The scullery maids are all gone now. I couldn't put you up there, though, in the attic with all those empty beds. I don't think it'd be very cheery. You're not just a scullery maid, you're my lady's maid, and that means you deserve good lodgings. It'd be an insult to offer you anything less than this. Now it's getting late. You'll have to forgive me for rabbiting on. I haven't heard that one either. I've heard it's something I tend to do. It's a bad habit, one that's unbecoming for a lady. The housekeeper's warned me enough times. You reassure the princess to the contrary, smiling as you do. You do not mind if she talks too much, it is better than not talking at all. Her affable nature makes it easier to spend time with her. Manners be damned. You're always scolded too, back in the conservatory, for your behavior. Hime writes all her games like this. More often than not, they're kinetic novels without choices. But I love the stories and don't play visual novels always for the choices. Yeah. You know full well how aggravating it can be to be upbraided, not for any particular misdemeanor, but for being yourself. Well, I'm glad you understand, the princess answers with a giggle. I really should be off, though. It's bad manners to keep you, especially when you look so sleepy. Get some rest. We can talk more tomorrow, if you don't mind my ceaseless prattle. I'm glad you seem to appreciate it, at least. Though I'm sure you'll get tired of it eventually. All my old maids did. The princess departs, and in her absence you take a seat upon the bed, your new bed. You cannot help but think that this is all happening very quickly. It does not seem like very long ago that you were still in the forest, running for your life amongst tall, imposing trees with their gnarled, gasping branches. The forest might as well be a distant memory now, though. You are indoors, inside a castle no less, and you have been given a room in which to sleep and clothes you might wear. That seems premature still to declare that you are out of the woods, in a metaphorical sense, I mean, but things could certainly be worse. You force yourself to stand on legs which feel too weary to support you, and change into the night clothes hanging in the wardrobe. The night clothes do not fit you perfectly, but you are too tired to care about that. You are too tired to care about much of anything. You retreat to the bed and slide beneath its sheets. Then you let your eyelids fall shut. You exhale, and lulled by the breeze which blows outdoors, you fall asleep. You can make up all endings. That's the way of fanfic writers. You're so very tired, and your sleep is a deep, dark one, darker even than the furthest abysses of the nighttime. Like the nighttime sky, however, which shimmers with stars, your sleep is not all devoid of those prismatic fragments you humans call dreams. Though in this case, I rather think your nocturnal imaginings were rather more than that. They are not dreams, are they, to which your slumbering mind is subjected? You know that they are not. Otherwise your body would not be so very cold, not so clammy. The images that flicker beneath your closed eyelids, like the ghostly images in the Pngtuber, were not conjured from within your mind. They were instead taken from your memories. You are not merely dreaming, you are remembering. You remember the girls who slept in your dormitory and how they always hastened to use the shower first or last for breakfast. You remember how, when you finally did arrive at the dining hall, the most desirable morsels had already been snaffled up by the girls who got there earlier. I have never seen that word either. You struggled, too, to find a seat once you finally did get your hands on some food, because nobody ever wanted to sit with you. The other girls all acted like you were a leper, save for when they wanted favors. They never asked for these favors, mind, for why would they? To them, your father's prestige did not matter. They were all wealthy ladies too, many of them wealthier than you. When everybody has the airs and graces of a princess, how is anybody supposed to stand out? You stood out the least in your class. Perhaps you were one of the smallest, the frailest, the sickliest, who always came down with colds in the winter. Your poor health did not stop the other girls from treating you as a servant, though, when they remembered that you existed, of course. It was a lot in life, as you dealt with the stone walls of the conservatory, to carry school bags across the field like a pack mule. Hello, Plague. Hi, this is late for you. Hello, Plague. You are up late. I hope you're sleeping well. Then come the evenings. The girls in your dormitory had you sewing on missing buttons and ironing out the creases and wrinkles in their uniform. If there was an odd job that needed performing, you would always be asked. But these girls did not ask you. That would have been too civilized. They ordered you instead, and as they ordered you, they laughed at you. They laughed and they laughed and they laughed. Oh, hold on. Yeah. 12-hour DM session? Oh my god. Oh, hey, Drew. Hi. Drew, are you excited for Roger tonight? I'm excited for Roger. I'm mad that I like the man with the fuck-ass haircut and stupid glasses, but you have not missed any cannibalism. Players are very caught. Well, hey, I hope you had a lot of fun playing. 12 hours is just a lot. It's really hard for me to keep my focus on anything for 12 hours. It's just taking it. Yeah, Roger Big Joe time. In about an hour. We got about an hour. Roger Big Joe time. The laughter hurt, but it hurt considerably less than the kicks did, and the slaps, and the punches. Oh, Eddie going, gah! I'm not wrong on the Roger release time, right? It's not releasing like now, is it? Whoa. Plague, I got the puzzle correct? I got the puzzle right? I'm excited. I thought I totally picked the wrong answer. Yay! Are you laughing at Big Chode? Big Chode o'clock. Big Chode o'clock. Nah, yes, the Roger fan in the server is also foaming at the mouth. Okay. RJ mad with power. Why did Chode get auto-modded this time, but everyone else has been able to say it? Why does it keep saying? Oh, it keeps messing up. That's so funny. Everyone say tribbing. See if it auto-mods it now. Once during an embroidery lesson, one of your classmates had an accident with her sewing scissors. She stumbled, or at least she pretended to, and before you knew it, the silvery blades of the scissors were embedded in your left palm. Jesus Christ. Yeah, look at that. You said Chode once, and then it was weird about it. It's so weird. Two girls, one trib. This happened quite some time ago when you were even littler than you are now, but you still remember it. You did not miss any cannibalism. So we went down the mermaid route, and the mermaid just took us underwater and essentially just took us deeper and deeper and deeper. And when we tried to explain we couldn't breathe, she just said that she knew that we couldn't, and that she knew that we were going to die, but she didn't want us to leave like her friend on the shore had done previously. So she was taking us down. She was like, I'll like braid your hair, I'll do this and that, and you'll be kept safe, and I know you're gonna be dead, but you'll be kept safe regardless, kind of thing. It's been a sad lack of girls eating girls. Yeah, there has been. Now we're doing the castle route where we've met a girl who is all alone in her castle, and she says she's a princess, and all the maids and everything are gone. So we're being her maid, and now we're sleeping for the first night of meeting her and remembering stuff. This happened quite some time ago when you're even littler than you are now, but you can still remember it. It hurt a lot. The scissors were sharp and they perforated your skin, not all the way down to the bone, but enough to bleed. Your wound bled bright red like strawberry jam all over your embroidery. Then when your professor saw it, she shrieked. Her face turned as pale as way, and she looked for a few moments as though she might faint, though you were the one in pain. Your professor looked at your face, she could not bear to look at your hand, then demanded to know why you could not be more careful. Her tone had been an accusatory one, almost as if you had stabbed yourself in the hand with your scissors to goad her. The pain in your hand hurt, but the giggles of your persecutors hurt all the more. They never were punished for that. Perhaps your professor did not care enough to punish them. Perhaps she, like everybody else, thought it was all your fault. The wound, when all was said and done, was not too deep. You did not need any stitches. It healed well enough in time on its own, though it still left a scar, a white raised thing, like a crescent moon. You still have that scar. You do not know how much blood you lost. It seemed like a lot back in the classroom. You could feel it in the air, sharp as iron, but it could not have been that much, evidently. If your wound had been more serious, perhaps your professor might have cared. Perhaps your classmates, too, would have felt some modicum of guilt over what they did. Whoop! Ah! But this seems very unlikely. We know that your blood meant nothing to your classmates. Why should it? If you meant next to nothing, then the blood in your veins was, if such a thing is possible, even more inconsequential. You feel disoriented when you awake at long last with the rising of the sun. Now, whenever a new girl shows up, I immediately wonder what's wrong with her. I think that's valid. You do not remember what you dreamt, but you do not think that your dreams were part of a particularly pleasant nature. If they were, your heart would not be hammering so. Ill at ease, you glance round. You are lying in a narrow bed in an unremarkable room, one with dull beige walls and a warped wooden floor. Where exactly are you? This does not look like your dormitory in the conservatory, not unless it has shrunk threefold overnight. Your brow furrows as you attempt to recall the events of the night prior, until, with a gasp, it all clicks into place. You remember now. You were running through the woods trying to escape from... You shudder. You do not want to think about what it was you were trying to escape from. You presume that you must have given your hunter the slip, though, because you are still in one piece, awake and alert enough to face the dawning of new morning. You still have all of your limbs, and your facial features appear to be of the correct configuration. That is more than enough to be getting along with. You look to the foot of your bed and blink, bemused at your discovery. You can see, lying upon the sheets, a garment. 2 garments, actually, a black and white, folded into a neat square. Maid outfit! What that could be? What that could be? What could that be? A maid's outfit? So it would not be too surprising. You can now recall your visit with the princess the night prior, and her assertions that you must be her lady's maid. Yeah, we're getting like these weird hints. Like, it told us earlier we're not of this world, which is really strange. And I don't like that we're checking our face in the morning. That's kind of weird. You can now recall your visit with the princess the night prior and her assertions that you must be her lady's maid. Yeah, it has to be on purpose. Well, if that is the role she wants you to assume, you have no qualms with it. It's far preferable to the other role you played last night, that of a startled quarry running from its pursuer. Especially when combined with the way she described it, a weird doll. Yeah. I'm worried we're gonna get turned into a doll in this route. Really, truly will be an Elber end route. Oh, yeah. Me and Neko, same hat. You press your fingers against the humble maid's attire. It feels surprisingly soft to the touch, not coarse like you expected. These clothes are rather fine. Did the princess put them here? If so, that is all the more reason to wear them. You are not churlish enough to deny her her hospitality. Yeah, it is kind of a theme. You rise from your new bed, then undress yourself, unbuttoning the front of your plain white nightgown and setting it aside. This task accomplished, you then clad yourself in a new attire, black, white, and eminently sensible. You feel very far away from the girl that you once were. Your face might be the same as always, but something within you seems to have changed. Realizing you're not straight. You're no longer a student, Well, as long as you mean to reside within the princess's castle, you would far rather be her servant. Assured of your newfound identity, you retreat from your chamber, then make your way to the mistress's bedroom. The castle is a large one with many, many rooms and many, many hallways to connect them, and for a brief while you find yourself horrendously lost. Seems to be a lonely hot girl wanting to keep you warm forever, which matches the theme of the game, yeah. Or the game title, yeah. You cannot remember where the princess's bedroom is. You're beginning to feel rather disoriented when, to your relief, your eyes snag upon a stairwell which looks rather familiar. Could this be the way? You ascend these steps, your footfalls cushioned by the plush carpet which lines them, then find your way down the very same hall you traversed the night prior. Sorry. If your memory does not fail you, then the princess's bedroom ought to be... Yes, it's here! You rap upon the door, but receive nothing in the way of a response. Is the princess still abed? You wonder briefly whether you oughtn't wait until she is ridden of her own accord. Thank you, Plague. But no. The sun is high in the sky, and it would seem a shame to let the princess sleep through the day. You ought to, instead, rouse her. It seems like the sort of duty a lady's maid should attend to. You enter the princess's bedroom and glance about. Her room looks much the same as you remember it from the night prior, but the ceiling seems much higher when viewed in the wan morning's light. You can see now that there are fewer shadows to impede your view, how very opulent your young mistress's abode is. Her armory is large and imposing, as in the grate in which you will be expected to keep a fire lit during the nights. The princess herself, meanwhile, is curled on her side beneath the sheets, looking rather less grandiose than her title would suggest. She is attired in a nightgown adorned with frills, and her hair is split across her pillow like spilled gold. In her slender arms, meanwhile, held to her chest, is a doll, the very same one she was corsetting the last night. You suppose this doll must be her favorite. Mildly you wonder what the doll's name is, though you do not suppose it matters all that much. It is time to wake your mistress. You call out to the princess, but she is largely unresponsive. Her eyelashes are still sewn tightly shut, and her lips pursued in slumber. Pursed. You purse your lips too and sigh. Well, nobody ever said that your job would be easy. Once again you call to the princess, and this time she replies. Her response is not a favorable one, however. She sighs and turns away from you, her doll clutched to her chest. Just give me a little bit longer. The princess sounds so enfeebled, but you do not take pity on her. If you have learned anything from the conservatory, save for the knowledge pertaining to the respiratory tracts of fish, it is that one must be cruel to be kind. You do not think this adage was practiced with any great success in the conservatory, but perhaps it would have more of an impact upon the princess. You tell her once again to wake up, more sternly this time. You will not let her sleep, for she has slept long enough already. It is very slovenly, really, to be still abed at such an hour. Oh, defeated, the princess sighs. Alright, I can see that I can't twist you around my little finger. RJ, look me in the eye. Look me in the eye. Rodbert. Anyway. Oh, we get her in her little sleeping wear. It's cute. I'm up. You don't need to nag me. Once you have roused the princess from her bed, you have put her doll to one side, and you set upon her toiletry. Rodbert. Drew got that too. Sorry, Neko Plague. That's a ship name of a ship me and RJ are really into. You aid the princess in the brushing of her hair, a chore which she submits to willingly, like a cat might allow its fur to be brushed. You just want a cute maid waking you up in the morning. Who wouldn't want that? Come on! You allow yourself to ponder as you run the bristles of the princess's brush through her hair, how wonderfully soft it feels against her skin. But a curious query from the princess. Are you alright, dear one? Brings you back to your senses. Sorry, okay. Gilbert is a prince. Roderick is his right-hand man servant thing. His tool, as Roderick... Has Roderick called himself that? He's called himself something like that. So you could see how things could be shipped. Alright? That's enough explanation, I think. Who doesn't love a little malpractice? I think Walter is a lot older than Gilbert, but that's fair. You're rather lost in thought there. Look lively now. You wouldn't want the princess to catch wind of your salacious thoughts, would you? Love is love. Okay. So they don't need to make sense at all. You know what? Fair. I thought that you had learned your lesson about that already. Suitably chastened, you finished with the princess's hair and then set the brush aside. Did you guys hear me doing that? Where's my OBS? Yes. Oh no. Sorry. Apparently I can't touch the casing of my headphones without it being weird. Now that the princess's tresses have been taken care of, you must start on her attire. The princess remains seated upon the edge of her bed, looking up at your askance. She does not ask you to avert your eyes, nor does she make any motion of divesting herself of her nightgown. It really does seem as though she expects you to undertake this task on your own. Is that alright? You ask the princess as much. She would not wish to impinge upon her modesty, but she only laughs. Yes, that's alright. It's what you're supposed to do if you're to be my lady's maid. I'm used to being dressed and undressed. I'm not a bit squeamish about it. But this is okay. Gilbert's like 30, almost, so it's fine. She might not be squeamish about it, but you are. You've never seen a naked woman before, expecting yourself. Even then, however, you've always dressed and undressed furtively, not wanting to examine your body for longer than is strictly necessary. You've never much liked the way that you look. Okay, panicking coming. Here we go. You make a few more mumbled objections, but the princess sweeps them aside easily. It's alright. I might be a princess, but we're both people underneath all of our clothes. I doubt we look much different. You're not sure about that. You've not yet seen the princess unadorned, but you already know, to look at her face, that you are different. She is much, much prettier than you are. But she is waiting, and you do not wish to keep her any longer. You steady your nerves. Then you reach out with trembling hands and begin to undo the buttons which run down the front of the princess's nightgown. I'm not saying that, RJ. I'm not reading that out loud. You work as quickly as you are able, which, given how badly your hands are shaking, is not very. You fumble with a couple of the buttons, flinching as you do so. The princess, however, seems blissfully unaware of what it is exactly you are doing, or not doing, for your fingers have begun to seize up with the front of her nightgown. She's not even looking at you. Instead, her gaze is directed beyond your shoulder to the windowsill and the sky beyond it. In my heart, Akatsuki is an old man. I'm starting to get an idea of RJ. Dilf. Yeah. Can't say Dilf, but we'll allow it. Set her gazes. Oh, we already read that. It isn't particularly sunny, but I don't think it's too cold outside. Going for a walk might not be a bad idea. What do you think, dear one? They all call us dear one. You think that you would like to finish undressing the princess as soon as possible so you can make some progress on dressing her again. The sight of all this exposed skin is better for your heart. Fortunately, you're able to make quick work of the princess's nightgown despite your initial mishaps, spurred on perhaps by your anxiety. You bid the princess to stand, which she does, and neatly she steps out of her nightgown, her motions once again as graceful and as fluid as a dancer's. This task completed, you search hurriedly, worriedly, for the princess's red dress. Where is it? You cannot find it. As long as it doesn't have slurs in it. But yeah, I'd be okay with that. You cannot find it. Sweat begins to prickle on the back of your neck. Your palms, meanwhile, feel uncomfortably clammy. The moments pass awkwardly, uneasily as you search, the princess standing there all the while, as naked as the day she was born. Why did you not find her day dress before you stripped her of her night one? What fool you are! The princess, noting your panic, giggles and says, "Are you looking for my dress?" "Yes," you reply, your face flushed. "That is what you're doing." "I thought so. I did wonder before you started undressing me why you'd not asked where it was. Maybe it slipped your mind?" It slipped your mind, yes, to your shame. You're too busy trying not to fixate upon the princess's bared skin to think about how best to conceal it. "My dress is in my armoire," the princess says, glancing over to an aforementioned piece of furniture. That dresser, I'm saying dresser, I don't know how to pronounce that, of hers is intricately carved wooden structure, large enough, or so you estimate, to fit inside enough dresses to attire the whole ballroom's worth of princesses. I'd like to wear the red one, it's my favorite. Would you be a dear and fetch this to me? Fetch this for me? No, I haven't looked at the chat in a second. Would honestly love to have a maid like this for all the princesses in Ecree. Roderick is really the only one that fits that in the story. I just love the dynamic. Yeah, it's a cute dynamic if it's nice. Armoire. Armoire. I don't want to rush you, but it's rather cold in here, especially when I'm still naked. She raises a good point. You turn away from the princesses and make your way to her armoire. In a second. Once there, you open its wooden doors and peruse the clothes hanging within. It's just as you expected. Inside the wardrobe lies numerous dresses, all of them finely sewn and decorated with no shortage of ribbons, lace, and iridescent pearls. You find the princess's red one soon enough and hurry to her side. With your spoils in hand, you hurry to dress her, concealing once again the princess's pale skin beneath the layers upon layers of soft red velvet. It's easier to look at now, you think, with her skin concealed. That might have been the most nerve-wracking task you've ever had to accomplish, even more so than your perilous escape through the foggy forest. Aw, thank you, Plague. I hope you sleep well. It sounds like today was a great day for you. Rest up. Thank you for popping in. Wait, did I read that? That might have been the most nerve-wracking task you've ever had to accomplish, even more so than your perilous escape through the foggy forest. Why, it seems a small miracle that you can still remember how to breathe. Ah, that's much better. Thank you, dear one, for your help. You've not been here for a full day, but I already wonder what I'd do without you. Shyly, you assure the princess that you did nothing, really. Nothing beyond your job. You did not do anything incredible. And in any case, being complimented by somebody so pretty is embarrassing. Aw, don't be like that. I want to compliment you. Why shouldn't I when you've been so helpful? It'd be rude not to, and anyway. I think you're very pretty too. Oh my. Your face flushes from this, more deeply than ever before. You ought to count yourself lucky, really, with all this excessive blushing, that the princess does not seem to possess any vampiristic tendencies. Oh no. You're making yourself quite the easy target. Now, the princess declares, why don't we go for a walk? It's a nice enough day, and I get so very bored of being cooped up inside. You can't think of any particular objections to rise to this remark, and you think that the princess might have a point. The castle, though expansive, is somewhat stifling. The walls are so very thick that they put you in the mind of a crypt. With your Hold on. With your Sure, the princess quits her chamber, her posture elegant and her gait unhurried. She seems not to walk as she navigates her way through the seemingly endless hallways of her home, but to float like a cloud. The hem of her dress swishes around her legs, and her hair shifts like a shroud. The castle's courtyard, meanwhile, is sadly lacking in comparison to the princess's beauty. The courtyard is fenced in by the castle's walls, which look, in the stark midday light, tall and imposing, faceless soldiers standing sentinel. Though the sun is out, it's not particularly bright, and neither is it particularly warm. The courtyard itself, meanwhile, is in a state of disarray. The flower beds are in shambles, all overgrown with weeds. It is all rather depressing. The princess's castle might be grand in scale, but the courtyard itself is simple, hemmed into a claustrophobic degree like a coffin. The princess, however, seems not to share your dolorous mood. She instead looks elated by her newfound surroundings, her smile unwavering. She gabbles like a lamb, flitting hither and thither as she examines the weed-infested flower beds. The frolicking comes to a cease, however, by a bush. One is full of bright red roses. Oh, how very pretty! Do you not think they're gorgeous, dear one? The flowers are not too disappointing, you suppose. They make for a fine... Sorry, I was messing with my necklace. I was trying to make sure you couldn't hear them. They make for a fine spectacle. In fact, a welcome splash of color when contrasted with the dullness of the drabness which permeates the rest of the courtyard. Though the other flowers in their beds are wilted, withered things, it is not so for these roses. They are a rich, bright red, just like blood, their heads so full that they seem to almost droop beneath the weight of their own engorged petals. They are pretty in a sense, but there is something unsettling about them too, something that is almost obscene. Asthma, the asthma! How did those roses become so very red? What has been sustaining them? Could it be possible that these roses have been draining the life from the other flowers which are struggling to grow within this garden? It is a fanciful thought, but... Oh, they're simply divine! Looking at these roses always lifts my spirits. They really are my most favorite flowers. I simply must pick some of them. Perhaps I can use them to decorate my bedchamber. It could use a bit of color. The princess reaches out as to pluck one of the roses free from its resting place amongst its brethren. You watch her, your breath bated, anxious that this gesture might result in perforated flesh of bright red blood. But the princess is not so as clumsy as you fear. Of course she is not. Who did you think she was? You? Rather than worrying about other people, you would be better served if you worried more about yourself. The princess holds her newly pilfered rose to her nose and inhales, her eyelids falling shut as the flower's sweet scent washes over her. A few moments of silence pass. Then the princess begins to toy with the petals which adorn the flower's crown. And let me see. I wonder what fate has in store for me. She loves me. Frozen Blood of Vampire manga bothers me because her demons crafted from Rosemary's own mechanism. You find out the roses were grown with her own blood. Oh. She loves me? The princess flicks a petal from the flower's overburdened head. She loves me not. The princess continues with this childish incantation, all the while stripping her rose slowly and methodically of its petals. Maybe we should just skip the hot troubled girls and go to therapy. Yeah, we do have a voice that's supposedly not our own in our head, so, like, might be good. These petals flutter about the princess like a bloody snow. The princess' voice, meanwhile, echoes through the courtyard, even more melodic than the strains of a pianola. She loves me not. She loves me not. The princess's fingers hover over the final petal, which crowns her nearly donated flower. Then with a triumphant smile, she declares, "She loves me! I knew it!" You watch the princess, amused by her girlish good cheer. The little mantra she has been reciting is one that you're familiar with. The girls of the conservatory also used to engage in this little game, the younger ones at least, who believed that a fairy tale prince would whisk them away. You might have participated in this game yourself when you were a child, but you never pinned your hopes and dreams on a handsome prince. Your interest in princesses has always been minimal. I can tell. I think we can all tell. When it comes to fair princesses, though, well, that is a different matter altogether, isn't it? Pleasantly, you ask the princess whose love it is she wishes to court, a query which makes the princess giggle. Oh dear one, who else would I be thinking of? Naturally, I was thinking of you. Naturally. She says it so easily, as though you ought to have suspected as much, and indeed, part of you did. You wanted to believe, yet a part of you was afraid to. You did not want to be arrogant enough to assume that the princess might care for your affections. You begin to blush, your cheeks almost as red as the roses, while the princess laughs. She laughs and she laughs and she laughs, her voice clear and sweet like a nightingale's song, as though you were the funniest thing she had ever seen. You never liked being laughed at when you dwelt within the walls of the conservatory, but it's different with her. You've not known her for all that long, but you're already entranced by her, ensnared. She has you wrapped around her little finger. Oh my! The princess's laughter tapers off into a series of giggles as, smiling, she wipes her eyes with the back of her hand. That was quite the amusing diversion, but I've just had an idea. You look at the princess curiously. What idea? You can't tell. You cannot even begin to guess. I just thought that all this watching must be boring you, the princess says, tossing the rose's stripped stem carelessly into the ground. We should give it a try. Please do. It'll be fun. The princess retrieves the second rose from the bushes, deftly snapping it between her fingers, and offers it to you. I want to see what fate has in store for you, too. You smile at the princess, touched by her enthusiasm. Indulging in childish games like this might not be the best use of your time, but the princess looks so very determined that you would not wish to hurt her. Like really diminishes Mary Shelley's world-renowned novel, that instills in young girls that you shouldn't fix men, or wait for a man to change for you, but instead make him yourself. Are you continuing on your, Rosenblood thing? The main list of Frankenstein. Yes, okay. Good to know. What could be the harm, really, in consenting? The only real casualty of this game would be a singular rose, the rose that the princess is holding towards you. You reach out, meaning to accept the princess's offering, but Oh no! You were clumsy and you seized the stem of the rose with a touch too much strength. The head of the rose might be pretty, but there's more to the rose than the bright red flowers. Roses have thorns too, a fact that you're now being painfully reminded of. And complaining because it's way cooler to create beans from nothing than it is biting someone and suddenly becoming a vampire. I see, I see. Everyone take note. Everyone take note. This is how you get RJ to like a new character. Pain flares through your fingers and you gasp. You take a step back and the hem of your skirt swishing around your ankles. Your finger is stinging and so are your eyes. You ought to have been more careful. Why were you so stupid? You poor dear, you're bleeding, the princess exclaims, alarmed. Then she frowns. This is all my fault. If I had not suggested this silly game, this never would have happened. Please, let me take care of you. And how's she going to do that? Perhaps she means to take a handkerchief from her pocket with which she might staunch her wound. Princesses tend to carry handkerchiefs with them, don't they? Silken ones? How else would they how else would they give brave knights tokens of their gratitude once those aforementioned knights have successfully slain dragons? Princesses can hardly dispense kisses as favors. It's simply not done. That's what you always thought, but... Please, hold still. This might sting a little bit. This princess is anything but ordinary. Rather than take a handkerchief out of her pocket, she instead encloses her white, slender fingers around your hand. Carefully, as though she is handling a precious object, she raises your hand, her eyes affixed all the while on the beads of startlingly crimson blood which are oozing luridly from your wound. She licks her lower lip. And then there's the ads. Wait a minute. We'll wait for that too. Oh my eye. Now we got about 20 minutes till Roger out. Big swingin' Roger. Red Bull is done. Oh, fingies. Fingies popped. Here we go. Thank you, Drewadoodle, for getting us started. 1 out of what? What did you do, Drew? What do you mean? What do you mean ignore that? What did you do? It doesn't tell me what you did. Did you sub? Dilf was considered bullying? Wait, Drew, what? Why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? Wait a minute. What? 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 Why it says I got 3 sub points? You did something. Whatever you did, thank you, Drew. If for some reason it's not popping up things that, well, but whatever it is, thank you, Drew. I appreciate it. I think it's funny that Dilf is considered bullying. While the ad break's going on, I gotta cut my lights on. It's getting really dark and it's starting to hurt my head. Stealing RJ's top. Oh, RJ, look at that! You guys are gonna get into a war. Thank you, Neko. Thank you, though. Thank you. It's nice of you. Sneakiest sub. It's fine. It's fine. Thank you, Drew. Thank you. It's nice of you to do. But give me 1 second. I still gotta cut the light on. My legs stuck to my chair really bad. Wow, RJ, you have a number 2 by your name. Bits Leader 2. Alright, ad breaks over. Tits. Back. Blood being licked? Oh, I need to reset this. Hold on. RJ, it's okay. It's gonna be me. You're okay. You would do the same. You would do the same to me. She then dips her head. Ooh. Rose red, but your blood is redder. Okay, that's an achievement. She parts her mouth, and with a soft sigh which borders on the sensuous, she slips your injured digit between her teeth. She's very sharp. So much for princesses not dispensing kisses as tokens of appreciation. Definitely need an emote to celebrate the tits being back. You know, I think there are tit emotes that I could buy. This might not be a conventional kiss, but it feels intimate regardless, almost startlingly slow. The princess's lips, which are red as any rose, are enclosed around your index finger. You can feel the warmth of the princess's mouth about your skin and the wetness of it. These sensations make your whole body quake. You do not expect this. Tremendously, in a voice which wavers, you ask the princess what it is she's doing. Oh? The princess glances up at you, her mouth still enclosed around your finger. Didn't I tell you I'm trying to stop the bleeding? Yes, you gathered as much, but... Is there a problem? I'm not making you uncomfortable, am I? It is not, you say, that she's making you uncomfortable, per se, but it is rather awkward. You did not expect it, that is all. And she's not worried... And is she not worried that this is unhygienic? Unhygienic? The princess blinks. She is a very picture of innocence, which is really funny, given that your finger is still nestled against her tongue. I don't know what you mean by that exactly. But I've heard this is the best way to take care of cuts. My nursemaids used to do this for me when I was a child. It's what you're supposed to do. And you ask, your voice catching in your throat, did her nursemaid keep staunching her wounds with her mouth as she grew older? Well, no, but my nursemaid was dismissed when I was 8 years old. That's the normal way of things. I had my ladies' maids look after me then. Very interesting. And did they ever clean her wounds like this? No, the princess says, smiling mischievously, because I'm not clumsy enough to cut myself, silly. Now that was quite the sharp retort. You did not expect it. Your face turns even redder if such a thing is possible, though this might, perhaps, be to your benefit. With some luck, all your blood will flow to your face rather than your finger, and your bleeding will stop. Has it stopped? Your injury was not a deep one. There should be no need for the princess to keep on suckling, but she still is. You are not accustomed to this intimacy of this nature. It's making your heart flutter. If the princess knew what her mouth was doing to you, you're sure she would not be so very familiar. You feel quietly, crushingly confident that she would scorn you for your feelings and deem them unnatural. It would not be the first time. Oh? At this point, you should be used to rejection. It still stings, though. It stings so much more than any thorn on a rose could ever. The days pass, following in your misadventures in the road garden in a relaxed, unhurried sort of manner. Your mad dash through the forest is beginning to feel like a distant memory, so much so you can scarcely recall the raw, naked fear you once felt as you fled for your life. For your wife. Sorry. Sorry. There's no running to be had while you were working for the princess. You would have nowhere else to run, and in any event, there is no longer any reason to run. The shadows which once tormented you have at long last begun to recede. You can scarcely recall as you lay down in your bed the petty cruelties you were subjected to by your classmates at the conservatory. They no longer matter. Your attention is focused, not upon yourself, but upon the princess. The more time you expend with her, the more you come to care for her. You have become quite besotted with her, but you are yet to realize it. Well, I never. How very ignorant can one girl be of her own feelings? The princess is not half so ignorant as you are, though, despite having spent her whole life within the palace's walls. The weight of her own feelings is not unknown to her, and during one stormy night she chooses to make them known to you. You are in the princess's chambers later. Perhaps you ought to be... Sorry. You're in the princess's chambers later, perhaps, than you ought to be. Later than is strictly inappropriate. It is dark outside, and there is little save for the light of the moon to elevate it. And that and the fire which crackles within the gate. You've only finished just stoking that very fire, and now you rise. You look to the princess, who is lying in her bed, and you bid her good night, as you have many nights past. With a neat curtsy, you turn to leave, but the princess's plaintive voice gives you pause. Wait, dear one, don't go, not just yet. Reflects you pause and look back at the princess. Because she is smiling, her expression is unusually wan. Is she alright? Oh, I'm sure I'll be fine. It's just nights like this, you know, which make me feel a little out of sorts. And what, you ask, does she mean by that? Only that it's very cold and very dark, and it's very windy. Besides, I'm afraid there'll be a storm later. It's awfully cloudy earlier when we went out for our walk. The princess is not mistaken about that. The sky, when the pair of you promenaded about the gardens earlier, was grey and steely, the wind bitingly cold. You can hear the wind rattling mournfully against the panes in the princess's bedchamber. The princess's castle is built of stone and is well fortified, but even with the fire it is rather cold. You do not like to think of how much chillier by comparison it will be in your humble bedchamber, which is not fortunate enough to have its own fireplace. It might sound childish, but I always found it hard to sleep on a stormy night like this. They make me feel uncomfortable. You look at the princess with no small degree of sympathy. No longer clad in a bright red dress, she looks oddly, uncommonly vulnerable. Will she really be alright all alone in her oversized bed in her high-ceilinged bedchamber? You know it's silly of you to contemplate such a query. Why would she not be alright? There's nobody in the castle to hurt her. But still, you fret for her. As her lady's maid, it is your job to fret for her. You would never want your mistress to feel unhappy. You ask the princess what it is she would like you to do, and the princess sparks up at this, pleased perhaps that you're taking the initiative. I wouldn't like to take up too much of your time when it's so very late, but would you mind sitting with me a little while longer and reading to me, provided that you can, of course? That's a fair enough question, but your pride bristles regardless. Hastily, you reassure the princess that yes, of course you could read. You were a poor student in many aspects at the conservatory, but you had something of a gift when it came to the literary arts. Reading books is all that you have ever been any good at. Oh, I see. I suppose I should have known. You're so incredible, I sometimes wonder if there's anything you can't do. The princess's high praise makes you flush. Awkwardly, you look away. I was hear the capital M in the mistress. Being able to read, you reassure, is not much of a great feat. Perhaps it isn't where you hail from, but it is here. Very few of my old servants could read, and they certainly couldn't read the books that I like. This piques your interest. Intrigued, you ask the princess what books exactly she likes. Well, I'm glad you asked. I'm fond of fairy tales, you see, old ones from centuries past. I have a collection of them here, the princess says, indicating a book on her bedside table, as thick as a mortuary slab. The book is old, though, and the bindings are weak, the pages brittle, and the writing woefully old-fashioned. I didn't trust any of my past servants with this book, but I think that you would do a good job breathing life into those old stories. Would you mind reading to me for just a brief while? Please, dear one, oh please? The princess's request seems a simple one expressed sweetly, so much so that you see no reason to refuse her. You take a seat beside the princess, upon her luxurious bed, which sinks beneath your weight. Then you retrieve the leather-bound book which is resting upon her bedside table and spread it open. The pages of the book are very brittle, like the princess said, and the bindings of the book are loose. You can feel in the heft of the book's manifold pages the weight of the ages concealed within. How old is this book? Perhaps it's as old as the castle in which it resides. It is, with a quiet voice, hesitant at first, that you begin to read the princess. A tale of courtly love which culminates in a lavish wedding ceremony. I'll spread something over. Uh-huh, RJ, uh-huh. All the while, as you read, the princess listens to you, enraptured, hanging, or so it seems, upon your every word. Once you reach the final phase, embossed upon the pages of this aged tomb, and they lived happily ever after. The princess sighs, as though this tale has touched her very soul. Would that there was a handsome prince to marry me, she says somberly. Or better yet, a beautiful princess. At this point I would even settle for a lowly scullery maid. Wink wink, nudge nudge. You blush at this idle remark and mumble softly that this would not be proper. The storm outside is still squalling, and you've never been one to raise your voice. You do not expect, therefore, that the princess will overhear you, but she does. She observes you, her head resting against her pillows, and says, "And what would be the problem with that, As my maid, shouldn't my happiness come before any silly ideas of propriety? Princess doesn't do subtle. No, she does not. Well, of course, you reply, but for a princess to marry a scullery maid. You still hung up on that? The princess titters. Don't pay it too much heed. I'm just talking to myself. As if anything like that would ever happen, when there is no priest around who would officiate it. You think there are greater issues with the princess's plan than the lack of a priest, though she does present a good point. The castle is an empty one. Even if the princess were to find somebody that she loves, there would be nobody to make such a wedding official. You cannot help but feel as though you avoided a good deal of nuisance. She has to try so hard. But by the same token, do you not feel a touch disappointed? Well, never mind. That was a nice story, the princess says, but I'm not sleepy yet, and it's still storming outside. Won't you read me one more? You would not mind, you reply, but it is getting late. You really ought to return to your own chamber. I know, but can't you find it in your heart to read one more story to me? Just one? You could use a short one, I won't complain. You have some doubts about that, but as before, you cannot resist the princess's demands. It is not, you think, because she is a princess, though that is, of course, part of it, but because she is, well, radiant. You would not, you would think, as you turn to the next story recounted in this aged compendium, want to upset her. You would rather cut out your own tongue. You read another story to the princess, which is of a similar vein to the last, impossible adventures culminating, at their close, in a happy marriage. This tale delights the princess just as much as the tale you read prior, and she begs for another, and then another. One bedroom story soon becomes 5, and even then, when the candles which flicker the princess's bedside are close to guttering out, the princess is not satisfied. Like a grasping, greedy child, she has never heard of moderation. When she wants something, she seeks to glut herself with it, her only request of that of more. If she were less comely, perhaps her inability to adhere to the word no would have been seen as a character deficit. The princess is very comely, however, and so when she makes her next request, you almost agree offhand without considering the ramifications. I think I can go to sleep now, but the store is still raging. I feel lonely on my own in this big, empty bed, so... I know! The princess's eyes light up like the night sky in a thunderstorm. Why don't you sleep with me? You stare at the princess, your eyes wide as goose eggs. Slowly you blink. Then, just as slowly, you bid her to repeat herself. Didn't you hear me? The princess giggles. Maybe you've been so busy cleaning up after me you neglected to clean out your own ears. I said, dear one, would you like to sleep with me? If that is the question she truly means to ask, and is easy enough to answer. Of course you would like to sleep with her. It would be an honor. But would it really be alright for you to accept such an invitation? It must be a gross breach of protocol, surely, for a lowly domestic maid such as yourself to share a bed with a princess. You sit upon the princess's bedside, fretting, while she observes with wide, beseeching eyes. She is waiting. Well, what's the matter? Why do you tarry so? Could it be... The princess's lower lip begins to tremble. Don't you want to lie with me after all? The sorrow present in the princess's voice and her face makes you feel awfully guilty. Hurriedly, you console her. You tell her in no uncertain terms that if she truly wishes to partake in your company, then you would have no qualms with it. Why would you? Well then, don't just stand there dilly-dallying, silly. Come and join me then. Or she would have jumped the mermaid by now. And that is what you do after returning briefly to your own chamber to change into your nightgown. Once dressed, you waste no time in returning to your impetuous princess's side. She is already lying in her glorious 4-poster bed, waiting for your return as though you're a knight-errant gone away to slay some wicked dragon. The princess giggles when she sees you. In your haste to change, you have made a hash of the buttons, and she bids you to come closer. Let me fix that for you, silly. Oh no, you say, I couldn't possibly let you do that. I am but a servant after all. Should it not be your job to dress her? Maybe so, the princess says, but I don't mind a bit of a role reversal. It makes things more fun. You try a few more refutations, but in vain. The princess summarily discards all of them. Quite at the princess's mercy, she might even be more stubborn than you are. You capitulate her demands. You let the princess unbutton the front of your nightdress, and rebutton, so the fabric of your plain gown is drawn shut. Satisfied with her handiwork, she has very elegant hands. The princess draws back and pats the mattress beside her. Now come in. It must be horribly cold out there, but these sheets are warm. Coyly, the princess smiles. And so am I. Seems like she'd nibble a bit. Yeah. You feel warm yourself as you slide into the bed beside the princess. Your face is as red as the gown the princess so often wears, as red as the roses on the castle's grounds. All the while your heart is fluttering. Does the princess know what an effect she is having on you? Surely she must. How could any woman be so blind? There! The princess exclaims, once your body is lying beside her. It's so much better. Do you feel cozy now, dear one? You swallow and, with a shaky voice, reassure her. Yes, you are cozy. You're quite cozy indeed. Very good. The storm might be raging outdoors, but it can't get us here. I know when I'm with you, I'll be safe. It's strange, but... The princess reaches out, that takes your hand in hers, twining your fingers together like a chain. When I'm with you, I feel so very light. It's as though nothing in the world can hurt me. You make me feel safe, so I want to make you feel safe too. I'll take very, very good care of you, I promise. You return her smile with one of your own, touched by her thoughtfulness, though something about her promise does make you wonder. Should it not be your job to look after her, as a domestic? In a way, the princess replies, after a pause, but you've been taking good care of me already. Now I need to return the favor. As a princess, I'm supposed to look after my vassals. It's all a part of the job description. You were unaware that being a princess came with a job description. You thought that the profession came with far fewer written responsibilities and far fewer forms to sign than, say, becoming a doctor, or an astrophysicist, or a mathematics professor. You tell the princess this, sleepily, and she laughs. You do say some funny things, dear one. I think you must be tired. Go rest your head. You've been working so hard. I think you deserve it. Yes, you think, only half conscious. You think you deserve it too. You have been working hard for a long time and have been running even longer, but now, at long last, you feel like you can let your fears go. Your eyelids begin to droop, your body beleaguered by a sudden, all-consuming fatigue. And in a quiet, unstated sort of way, your consciousness is conveyed to Morpheus's kingdom. Your sleep is a deep one, despite the storm which rages outdoors. The wind is howling like a couple of wild cats, both locked in a vicious and bloodthirsty bout to the death, but you do not hear it. Swaddled by the warm blankets about you, and soothed by the princess's presence, you are immune to all the ills of the world. When you are with the princess, you feel safe, secure, and, yes, you even feel loved. It is a pity, then, that these feelings do not last for very long. You know that something is wrong, catastrophically so, the moment you open your eyes. Your thoughts are hopelessly jumbled, but you are certain that when you fell asleep, it was in a bed. Nice, warm bed, no less beneath the soft, comfortable sheets. You are not lying in a bed right now, though. You are not, in fact, lying at all. Ooh! You are standing, instead, against a cold, hard wall made of stone. The curve of your back is pressed against the wall so intimately you can feel its icy chill seeping through the fabric of your nightgown. Your feet, which are bare, are similarly pressed against the cold, unfeeling stone. They are so frigid you cannot help but tremble. You are trembling so much that you can feel your teeth clattering together. They sound like castanets. This is normal sex dungeon. Two very different reactions. The sound is almost jaunty as it echoes through your cell, for that is indeed where you are. The princess's bedchamber wherein you fell asleep is a thing now of the past. You are standing instead, you realize, with a sharp start in the cell of some great underground dungeon. Probably offer skeletons for... I don't know, it's like a little audience. You swallow. When you do, you can taste something bitter on your tongue. Your stomach is beginning to churn with anxiety. You feel like you're going to be sick, a feeling which wells up inside you to a staggering degree when you catch notice of the stench. You are not, you realize, the only one in the dungeon. There are others here, attired in simple black and white outfits of servants which look like the dress you once wore. Scumberly eyes. Is that not a bonus for you? The others who are with you, however, in this expansive cell, manacled to the walls, are in no fit state to speak to you, nor tell you of their plights. They are all unfeeling, unseeing, unbreathing. They are all dead. You cannot approach these servants to check their pulses, for you yourself are restrained. But even if you could, there would be no point. There is no way any human can survive the wounds which have been inflicted upon those sad, slumped bodies. Over there you see a woman slumped, the front of her once white apron stained with blackish blood. There is a gaping wound in her stomach, one in which her entrails have half escaped, and some sort of burgundy goop which might have once been pale pink. There is another woman slumped beside the verse of a smaller stature. She is skinnier. Maybe she is not a woman after all, but an adolescent like yourself. She might even be younger. The girl's age or lack of did not preclude her attacker from inflicting her upon horrors. Alas, her body is even more mutilated than the first. body is peppered with even more wells, and her face has been half smashed in. Only one eye remains, staring fixedly at the wall opposite of her, in the ruined remains of what was once her skull. Over there you see a woman who is missing both her arms and her lower jaw. Over there you see another who is missing her entire lower half. Where have her legs gone? You have no idea. The injuries inflicted upon these bodies are ghastly, but their advanced decay is enough to turn your stomach. You know not how long those carcasses have been laying there, but they have begun to putrefy. You fear a similar fate might befall you should you stay here. You need to escape. Fitfully you struggle against the manacles which bind you, but alas, it was no use. You cannot free yourself from the walls. Your restraints are much too strong, and you are much too weak. Panic rises in your throat, cold and icy, while terror seizes your heart, this too glacial. It is obvious that escape is impossible, but you still squirm, writhe, like a rat caught in a firestorm. This RJ's Build-Man kink all over again. There is little point, however, to your struggles. You succeed in nothing as you attempt to free yourself, save for making the steel manacle dig into your abused wrist more sharply than ever. You gasp. That hurts. Well, you ought to have known that would not work. The very definition of insanity is, you know, performing a set of action over and over again, hoping for a different response. In that sense, perhaps one could argue that optimism is not so very different from insanity. Now that is an interesting point to consider, would you not agree? No, evidently not. You're still trying to escape, you foolish girl, as if that will do you any good. The clangorous rattling of your steely restraints is rather starting to get on my nerves. You're making enough noise to raise the dead down there in your dark, dingy cell, and all your screaming is hardly helping matters. I wish I would cease this infernal racket, but I know you will not. Nothing I say could ever get through to you. Not that you have ever listened to me in the first place. Perhaps you would listen to her, though. Is she not your kind, considerate mistress? Look, now she has come all this way into the dark depths of the castle's cold and hospitable dungeon to see you. Is that not kind of her? Oh, dear one, the princess trills, entering the dungeon with a series of light lifting steps. It seems you've finally awoken. How are you? Based on all that infernal racket you've been making, it would seem like you have no shortage of energy. Balefully, you turn your head as to meet the eyes of the princess. She is standing but a few paces away beneath the roughly hewn stone arch which bids one entry, but rarely ever an exit, to the dungeons. The dungeons are dull and drab, but the princess is wearing her favorite red dress. It is so bright and brilliant that for a few moments it hurts you to look at her. Once the red of the princess's outfit made you think of romance. Now it makes you think of violence. You must forgive me for leaving you down here for so long. That was unfair of me. I did think of waiting here with you by your side until you awoke, but... Once again the princess giggles, a light airy giggle which does not at all suit the situation in which you have found yourself. A dungeon is not a fit place, after all, for a princess. It's horribly cold down here, and so very drab, and there's nowhere nice and soft to lay my head. I could have brought my pillows down from my bed, I suppose, and my blankets, but then they would have gotten dirty, and that would been a disaster. I need to be more careful. I won't have anybody left to clean up after my messes soon, not when I've dispatched of you. Once again the princess laughs, her laughter light and lilting, like a chimney of a silvery... like a chiming of a silvery bell, but it does little to elevate your concern. If anything, it just makes you feel even more alarmed. Did she say that she meant to dispatch of you? Yes, that's right. Could you not tell? I thought you might have figured that out already after waking up in a dungeon, silly. Still smiling, the princess takes another step towards you. Would that you could, you would cringe away from her, but you cannot. You are completely powerless. The princess reaches out and places a hand upon your cheek. Her skin is very white, and though her touch is cool, it is less so than the frigid air in the dungeon. Though your body is aching, the princess's touch is gentle, and you find yourself leaning into it subconsciously. You wish she would keep holding you. You wish she would keep touching you. You luxuriate in her kindness as best as you can, but though the princess's caresses are tender, your circumstances rather undermine them. Is kissing still on the menu or no? Maybe we'll get one more before we die. How can you relax like this? Ah, you're such a good girl, the princess says in a cajoling sort of voice, that as one might address a cat. You've been so lovely to me while we've been together. I really couldn't ask for a better servant. I feel as though I've been spoiled. Why then, you ask her, is she doing this? Improbable though as it sounds, she must be the one who chained you up. There's somebody else in the castle who would have committed such a feat. Oh, I burped. Sorry. Everybody else is dead. Why yes, very astute of you. I was the one who orchestrated all of this naturally. Naturally, she says, as though her betrayal is a matter of course. Naturally. Why, you ask, is this so natural to her? What does she mean to do with you? Oh, only what I've only done to all my other servants. I have experience with this sort of thing, so please don't worry. I'll take good care of you. And by take good care of, she means, naturally, I'll kill you. There it is again, that word which seems grossly inappropriate given all that has transpired. Naturally. There's nothing natural about this. Do you not think so? The princess examines you, her expression ponderous. It's natural to me, even if it isn't natural to other people. This just feels right. Imprisoning her servants in the dungeon and letting them die? Yes, exactly. There's a bit more to it than that, though. Oh, of course there is. I like you, dear one, the princess says in a voice which sounds uncommonly serious. You've been good to me, like I said, and kind. For that I will be eternally appreciative. You've been so good to me, in fact, that simply being with you is not enough. Not anymore. Your company can no longer content me. I'm a greedy, selfish girl, you see. The princess's smile widens into something sinister, her eyes flashing with a fiendish fervor you've never before witnessed. And I don't want to feel you beside me. I want to feel you inside of me. There could be ways. There could be ways to accomplish this. Just so you know. Well, of all the things your charming captive could have said, you did not expect that. The princess, perhaps noticing your confusion, begins to giggle. A giggle lighter than just as airy. It is just as inoffensive. I can see that you don't understand, dear one, but you aren't the only one. My last lady's maid said that too. Double-ended toys and you could fingers, you could other things. Also, they definitely had sex toys. They definitely had sex toys. If the Sengoku era had sex toys, the fucking medieval era had sex toys. I think that probably would have been whenever they started using ivory for them, but I'm not too sure. I might be a little too late for them. Would definitely. Would definitely. Maybe not double-ended, but there are ways. Well, if you lacquer the wood, it should be fine. Finally, the princess sighs, a beleaguered woe-is-me sigh which makes her look even younger than the scant handful of years she truly possesses. Which reason was called boned. And the one before that, and the one before that, and the one before that. I thought that you, at least, might be able to appreciate my point of view, but perhaps not. I don't think it'd be too complicated to grasp, really. But maybe my way of looking at the world is a little bit unique. That's what my nurse always used to say, at least when she still had the breath to speak, of course. You look at the princess. Where else is there for you to look, really? Your eyes are fixed to her face. She's still smiling, but there's something sinister about her smile. Or perhaps, in your anxious state, you're only imagining that there is something sinister about her smile. It is easy to see the things that do not really exist in your surroundings are festooned in shadows. In actuality, however, the princess does not look any different to how she usually does. Neither is she acting any differently than the way she usually acts. She has not changed, it is only your perspective of her that has changed. Tremendously, you ask the princess what she means, a question that the princess is only too happy to answer. It's simple, really. Like I said, you were wondering, weren't you, why there weren't any guards or servants in the castle when you first arrived here? The question crossed your mind, yes. You were sure that the princess said her minister sent them away, though. Was that a lie? I wasn't being wholly truthful, no. I thought you would be afraid of me if you knew what actually happened, and I didn't want that. I wanted you to stay with me. My ministers didn't send anybody away because I don't have ministers. I dispatched them, too. Did she now? You suppose you ought not to be surprised, but you still shudder regardless. My ministers weren't very fun, I'm afraid. They had a lot of ideas of what I should and shouldn't do after my parents died. The princess stares at you, her eyes wide like black holes, empty, yawning abysses. So I killed them. I killed my servants too, though I did a more thorough job with them than I did of my ministers. I did not care for my ministers, you see. They were all fussy old men, but I did love my servants. I love my ladies' maids and my undermaids and my scullery maids, and my housekeeper and my cooks and my large routine of retainers. They were like my family. They raised me in my parents' absence, and I adored them. They were so very dear to me that I had no real choice. I had to eat them. Ah! Cannibal! Cannibal! We got it! Does that follow? Not logically, no. Why, you ask the princess, your voice trembling, would you eat the people that you love? It seems a poor way to repay them for their kindness. Well, why wouldn't you eat the people that you love? I don't think there could be any greater way of showcasing one's gratitude unless you have any better ideas. You weren't expecting the princess to turn the tables on you quite like this, and dumbfounded you stare at her. You know precious little about love yourself, so it is hard for you to form a convincing rebuttal, but you muster up a few token arguments. You tell the princess that eating people isn't very nice, and neither is it strictly legal. A better way to show your gratitude to your servants would be with increased wages or increased holidays. Okay. I mean, true, but it's not what I was expecting. The princess listens to your arguments, her expression astute like a student poised to take notes in a very important lecture. Once you're finished, however, her concentration fails her. Her shoulders begin to shake, but it is not with remorse for what she has done. Instead, she is laughing. Oh, dear one, that's very funny, but why should I care about the law? I'm a princess. One day I'll be the queen. I am the law. That is a good point, but would eating people not turn her subjects against her? What subjects? I'm no fool, you know. No matter how I might act, I know what happens beyond the castle's walls. I know all about the plague. Once I might have even had a populace to govern, but they're all gone now. I'm a princess in nothing but name only, a monarch without any subjects. Don't you think that's sad? I know I do. It's so woefully lonely. She feels lonely. Why has she been systematically slaughtering all her domestics? It doesn't make a lick of sense. Perhaps not to you. Gently, the princess caresses your cheeks. But I shouldn't judge you too harshly. As much as I like you, dear one, you are a commoner. Perhaps you can't understand the intricacies of my thoughts. Privately, you doubt that anybody would be able to understand the intricacies of the princess's thought processes, largely because it's unreasonable. You do not say that, though. Instead, you ask her the only question you can think to ask, with your weary throat, which is sore from shouting. Why? Why, you ask? The princess blinks. It's because I don't want you to leave me, of course. Everybody leaves sooner or later, when they have pledged their allegiance to me or not. That is simply the way of the world. People are fickle and inconsistent, even to be a monarch. That's why I decided to eat my servants. I had no choice, you see. It was the only way to ensure that they would never leave me. When you think about it, they should be grateful that I would demean myself so to consume their flesh and blood. I am a monogamous ruler, you see, and I treat all of my subjects equally. I love every single one of you, and naturally I love you too. You have been awfully nice to me, and you are very pretty alongside it. If you were a plain ugly girl, perhaps I would not shower you with affection quite as intense as this, but you captured my heart. I think you're lovely. So I'll bestow upon you the highest honor I can conceive of. I want your body to mix with mine, then we can stay together forever and ever. The princess leans in. You can feel her soft silken hair brushing against her cheeks. Can feel, too, the warmth of her breath as it goes against her skin. It was cold in the dungeon, but the princess's close proximity is perverse as this might sound, something of a comfort. Her eyes wide and her lips so red. Her smile, meanwhile, is so sweet. I've been doing my best to fulfill the role that fate has dictated for me, but really? The princess exhales. Her eyes, which are boring into yours, are like two dark tarns. Finally, you think you could see in the alarming lack of light the lack of anything, in the princess's gaze some degree of humanity. It gets so lonely here. But this brief flicker of understanding which passes between the pair of you is soon cut short. The princess dips her head. She parts her lips, which are as red as the petals of a carnivorous flower. You feel the princess's breath against your neck. It is warm in the icy chill of the dungeons, and you shudder from it. For a few moments you think that this overture of the princess's could be romantic in a way, but this too comes to a swift, merciless close. The princess's mouth is on your neck. The princess's teeth, sharp as needles, are in your flesh. The princess is draining your blood. She is supping on it with great greedy goblets, like a hungry animal, one who cannot truly comprehend the harm it is causing. Even as the princess sups from you, her arms twined around your waist, you cannot hate her. She's far too unworldly. You are sure, as your consciousness begins to fade. Is anyone else here panicking? Maybe gay panic. That the princess was being sincere when she spoke of her love for her past servants. This is simply the way that the princess expresses this great love of hers, a love which is so very abundant and borders upon the monstrous. It is a love that you never thought you could ever experience. This love of the princess's eclipses anything you have ever known before. It eclipses sanity. It eclipses reason. It eclipses all notions you might have once had of right or wrong. The princess, as you know full well, does not care about such concepts. You have always possessed stubborn care nestled beneath your weak-willed exterior, but the princess is even stubborner than you are. In the face of her love, you have met your match. The princess draws back. Desperately, you gasp for air, but she does not give you any quarter. As before, she dips her head, her lips still redder, still with your blood, then splits apart her jaw. Her teeth, which are impossibly inhumanely sharp, glint wickedly like knives. What do you mean she splits her jaw? She then tears out your throat. The front of your nightgown was white once. Now it is red. There's so much blood you could smell when you inhale, sharper than metal. It's so potent that you can taste it on your tongue. Archie paid attention once again. Yay! The timing. You try to inhale, but this task proves to be beyond you. What with the twin perforations that have ruptured your skin. I know, everyone's like, let us see, but we're not seeing it. Your attempted breaths as they escape your limbs sound like sad, sorry wheezes. Your whole body, meanwhile, feels as though it's on fire. Monster Princess, right? You make for quite the sorry sight indeed, but you'll forgive me if my sympathy is limited. You did bring this upon yourself, you know. You reap what you sow, and in your case you made a series of bad decisions which led to your untimely demise. Now what do you want to do? Will you accept this fate of yours and rest in peace, or will you try to fight against it? You know what we do here. We save... Hi, Vic. Sorry. He just started coughing really loudly, and I was like, I'm sorry, I'm enjoying my lesbian time. He's just looking at me with a very judgmental face. We're gonna ignore that. Alright, let's try to accept our face first. Wow, that is short. Okay. What? Really? You're fine with being eaten alive in a dark, dingy dungeon than being left to rot? Does not sound like a very satisfying ending to this particular narrative. But if that's what you want, then so be it. I do not mind indulging you. That is what I've always done, after all, from the moment we first met. I have dedicated myself I've dedicated myself tirelessly to answering your wishes, and this is no different. Do not be so foolish to think, though, that you can escape me, even if your life's blood has mingled with that of the princesses. I'm not going to relinquish my hold upon you that easily. I did pledge, after all, to remain by your side, come what will, fire or flood. I will never leave you. A love that consumes, how does it feel to be so adorned so ardently? You'll never be lonely again. Alright, let's do the other ending. My throat kind of hurts. That's a good answer. I must admit, I like it. It's simply impressive how defiant you can be, even in a situation as discomforting as this. And now, try not to cry, keep your chin up. This is but a minor setback in your story. Like all fair maidens, you are deserving of your own happy ending. You need only the strength to try to seek it out. Why don't we give this another go? Just try not to ensnare the hearts of any more monarchs, particularly those with unusual appetites. You are destined for far higher purposes than being an entree. There are vastly more enjoyable ways to be eaten in this world. Yeah? Yeah? Are there? Your fate is once again in your hands. Now I wonder, which path will you take? We don't have any paths left. Oh, we got the give up path. Okay. I don't have any other save slots. Okay, yes. I want to look at this for a moment. I don't know how much longer this is. If it was like 10 minutes, I'd keep reading it, but I'm worried it's going to be another 30 minutes. Oh. Hold on, my throat. So, you've come back here, have you? That does not come as much as a surprise. Though you're presented with 3 potential paths, it is not as though traversing any of them would have any particular impact upon your ultimate fate. I just want to see a little bit, if we get a glimpse of who this narrator is. In the end, you were always destined to return here. Did you really think that you had a choice? How hopelessly naive of you. I thought that you were smarter than that. Your breath, which once escaped your lips in sharp, ragged gasps, is now on the verge of petering out altogether. Your lungs feel deflated as though they have been punctured. Your blood is rushing through your temples in a heady, overwhelming surge. What are the chances the narrator is a hot girl who wants to kill you, right? Your stomach, meanwhile, has twisted itself up into knots. Your body feels heavy, your legs in particular. They no longer wish to obey you. You take a stumbling step forward and your foot gets caught in a tree root. You're uncertain that you passed this root already, and now that you've sidestepped it, perhaps your memory is beginning to fail you, just like the rest of your body. The witching hour. It's almost time for me to make my grand entrance. Oh! Oh. You gasp, surprise, and pitch forward, stolen senseless like a sack of potatoes. Your arm hits the ground with a crack, one which makes you cry out in pain. Tears begin to bead on your eyes, wet and salty, tears which you cannot stymie. You are not as resilient as the gravedigger, nor as carefree as the princess. If you lived underwater like the mermaid, then nobody at the very least would be able to tell that you were crying, but you do not, and I can. Believe me, I can. Your arm aches dreadfully, but at least you can still feel it. Your poor feet, meanwhile, have gone quite numb. You would try to stand had you the energy, but you know as you sit there dazed that this would be a futile effort. You cannot stand, not any longer. It hurts too much. You really have been through a lot tonight, haven't you? I fear that I have not been very kind to you, but you ought to be accustomed to hardship. Why then aren't you crying? You always have been a crybaby. That's why they teased you so much, is because they knew they would be guaranteed a reaction. You're very predictable. Even now, as you try to borrow my power for your own purposes, you have not changed at all. As you sit there sobbing, you think you can hear footsteps approaching you. There, to your right, is the snapping of a twig. To your left, the telltale rustle of leaves. Every sense feels razor sharp, toned to a knife's point by anxiety. You're so panicked you feel as though you're going to be sick. If you want to vomit, then why not? There's no shame in it. Yeah! There's nobody here to judge you, nobody but me. I've always been here, you know. I'll always be here, no matter how fast you try to run, or how far. Did you really think you could escape me? Poor sweet child. Poor little fool. I did tell you, did I not? A contract with a witch is binding. No amount of physical distance between the both of us could ever sever it. Shh, 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 RJ. I told you I would never let you be lonely, and I meant it. But I've had rather enough of these little games. It's time for me to collect my collateral. Ooh, it's bitchin'! A soft gasp escapes your throat as you feel arms wind their way around your back. Naturally, you know whose arms they are. They are mine. I've been watching you all night, but this is the first time I've reached out to you in such a direct manner. The scum kinkless. Wait, there's caveats to that. There's caveats. It's not kink. Should you not expect for me to be so forward? I can hear your heart fluttering in your chest as it's beating very quickly like a startled rabbit's. Your breaths are short and sharp. It is a cold night, and though I'm holding you, you are still shaking. I wish you would not tremble so. Everybody fears the unknown, but we are not strangers. We have spoken before, have we not? When you first called me forth from the ether, using that book you found in the library? You were desperate enough then to turn to the occult for help. You pleaded with me to use my magic for your behalf. You begged me. You implored and you entreated and you wheedled and you whined, and though I had some reservations, you forced my hand. I had no choice, not in the face of your desperation. You did not want to be lonely anymore. You wanted to have a friend, somebody who would always be there for you no matter what. You wanted somebody to love you. Is that not what you demanded of me? Is that what I have given you? You might think me wicked, but you're being awfully cruel yourself to run from me after I made all your wishes come true. I did think, you know, about punishing you for running away from me. I thought about poking out your eyes so that you might never see anybody other than me. I thought about cutting off your long, lovely hair so that nobody might ever think you beautiful but me. I thought of breaking your legs so you might not be able to escape from me. I turned all of these intriguing ideas over in my mind, but I am a merciful witch. Though you hurt me, I did not wish to hurt you. You asked after all that I love you, and that's what I did. I have drowned you in my love. I have buried you beneath my love. I have swallowed you with my love. You have always been a sad, lonely girl, one who has been starved of affection. Nobody has ever cared for you. Your life has been barren, empty wasteland, one devoid of any fonder feelings. This is why I had to drown you, you see. This is why I had to bury you. This is why I had to swallow you. In the end, I was doing you a favor. I was doing it all for you. In that sense, you're very lucky. Did you know that? There are few people in the world who have had this privilege of being loved to the brink of insanity quite this many times at one night. There are few people in the world who can claim to have been loved by a witch. You have experienced so much love, it ought to have slaked even your unquenchable thirst. You know now what it feels like to be adored. I have more than upheld my end of the bargain. Now I think it's time that you do the same. From this night forth, you and I will always be together. Then I shall be able to love you endlessly. You will never be lonely again. Ooh. The end! I'm getting the ring. Damn. That was good. That was good. I want a witch lover. Ooh. Wait, there was a secret. Ah. Whoa. Oh, I'm not gonna read all of this. Oh, it was inspired by a two-part novel series, The Orphan Tales. Take cues from fairy tales and lore. Hmm. Okay. All the mini stories connected to each other. I'm just skimming this a little bit. We have so many questions. Why was she running? So I think if we so we kept hearing about how. Alright, I'm piecing together my thoughts real quick. It might sound a little scattered, but this is how I understand it. For one, we gotta keep in mind that every time we fell asleep, we kept having these awful memories of how we were being bullied, and how subsequently, whatever path we chose was in relation to how we were bullied. Like, I know that in the bullying with the scissors where we got cut and everything, it was not that we were eaten, but our blood was taken, in a sense. And with the drowning, we didn't actually drown, but we were shoved into a fountain, and people were not helping her. And then in the grave route, the memory we had was of these awful students, our co-students, our like people that we wish we could be friends, had made a mock grave of us to show that they thought we were dead to them and everything. And so we were awfully bullied, and what the witch just expressed was that because we were so bullied, we would hide in the library, and that's why we had all these fairy tales that we kept referring to as we gone down these paths. Like, oh, you've read about this in books, you've read about princesses and fairy tales, you read about mermaids in this book, and blah blah blah. That we went to the library a lot, and we just kind of buried ourselves there and read so much because it was a good escapism from all that. But in doing so, we found a book on the occult, and we found a way to summon this witch, and we begged the witch of all these things, but we mainly begged her to be a friend, to love us, and to not leave us. And the witch took that like an evil genie. And yeah, we were trying to run away from the witch after we bound with her. And the witch was frustrated. And the witch was like, okay, you keep running. But I think another aspect that we're overlooking is how many times the MC hinted that she was not of this world. I think the witch put us in a world to be pulled away from all these people that had bullied us so badly, so we could be in our own little world with someone who loved us, but we didn't realize the repercussions because we probably said it in a fit of emotions. And so we were really upset that the witch trapped us there. Or the witch trapped us there in a sense of, like, punishment. Because she was mad that after we summoned her and we begged her to do all these things, we got scared of her and ran from her. And she was like, fuck you, that's not fair. I've done all this stuff for you and you won't even be mine. And so as we're running away, she puts us into this world and she shows us all these paths of what it's like if we're not with her, of how the love was overcompensating the witch and how much it hurt and all the ways that she wanted to express it, but in dangerous ways that were like a punishment to us for running away from her. So that's how I understood it. I liked it a lot. Don't know if the witch put us into the world of our own volition or if it was a punishment. That's up in the air for me. I'm leaning more towards like the witch just did it, even though we might not have asked for it. Just kind of like a genie, like, oh, I wish that all these people who hurt me weren't here anymore, or I wish I was so far away from these people. So like the witch probably just put us in a different world at that point. The going back to it, in all of them, it referenced a plague, and it's very possible that the witch killed all the people that hurt us, and that's probably another reason why we were so scared of the witch, because we probably didn't want anyone dead, but the witch managed it. We probably got really scared from that. Those are all the things that I'm inferring. Stuff interesting. Should have dropped more hints about the witch though. She'd have felt like a last minute addition. She was wrapped around there in the narration though. Like anytime that we like quote unquote died, she was talking to us and berating us and talking about how she didn't want to go through all the like details and how tedious it was. Then she was like, okay, are you satisfied with this or do you want to keep fighting? And then we keep fighting. So the witch was like in control of the whole narrative and was the voice of the whole thing. I think it was a little too short for her introduction. I'm hitting snooze again because I'm not I'm not going to keep streaming after this. I think her appearance felt like a little bit of a last minute. It was like we went through all these rounds that took hours to go through, and then hers is just like a quick 5-minute thing, but I still think it said a lot in those 5 minutes. It like suddenly explained all of these things that were happening in the story. And explained the weird narration and why she was so fucking mean. Yeah, it was fun. It was fun. I liked it a lot. Yeah, we didn't get much of that part at all. Just that she's like yandere and that's it. It wasn't until 2023 Yandere Game Jam that I decided to revisit this idea. Okay, yep. Yeah. This is something I would like to read later. I cannot read this all out to you guys as much as I would love to. My throat hurts. I need like a good break while I cook dinner and stuff like that. But I like this a lot. It's a great game. We learned so much more about Scum and RJ's King style. Oh, we get all the art. Wait. We don't get the art of the witch? Damn. Oh wait, maybe if I click on it, hold on. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. I don't know. I doubt it. This might just be a placeholder. I might go and look, but... Her dress is cute. Okay. Alright, that was fun. I'm going to cook and update my Ekman Villains game for Roger. I don't know if I'll stream in the server afterwards. I'll probably talk to you guys about that. I don't know, because I don't know. I might just yap a lot instead. But that was fun. I'm gonna rest my throat. It hurts. It hurts a lot. Roger time! He'll also make my throat sore. Ugh. But it was fun. Thank you for hanging out with me. I will talk to you guys in the server. Goodbye. Goodbye. I have to pull up OBS to say goodbye. Goodbye.